Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I'm your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today. We got the Texas Rangers versus the Seattle Mariners here at T-Mobile. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into these starting lineups. Happy Friday, everyone. On the left, one of the best shortstops in the game, Corey Seager. And on the right, the best center fielder in the game, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Texas Rangers. Leading off for the Rangers in right field, Brandon Nimmo. Batting second, playing shortstop for Texas, Corey Seager. Batting third, playing left field, Wyatt Langford. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Jake Berger. Batting fifth, playing center field, Evan Carter. Batting sixth, DHing for the Rangers, Jock Peterson. Batting seventh, playing third base, Josh Young. Batting eighth, playing second base, Josh Smith. And batting ninth, catching today for the Rangers, Danny Jansen. And on the mound with a 1-0 record, an ERA of 2.87, it is Jacob deGrom. And now let's get into the starting lineup for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at third base, Brendan Donovan. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting fifth, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting sixth, playing right field, leading the team in batting average, RBIs, and home runs, Dan Wilson. Don't take him out of the lineup ever. It is Luke Raley. Batting seventh, playing shortstop, J.B. Crawford. Batting eighth, DHing for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And batting ninth, playing second base, Cole Young. And on the mound for the Mariners, one of our aces, 1-2 record, ERA of 4.18. Didn't look too good in his first two starts, but the last two, he's getting back on track. It's Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. Tridents up. Let's go Mariners. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs to get it started. We only need 4 to be able to get to 23,800, and we should be able to hit that goal here tonight. 381 plus subs within the last a few weeks since we started the season. Fantastic, and we're definitely on our way. Now, we obviously know we just got swept by the Padres on the road. We can put that behind us. And again, we have to remember, when we went to Texas earlier in the month, we lost 2-1, 3-2, and 3-0. So the Rangers have swept us, so they're definitely deserving of a little bit of payback. And again, we haven't had a good record on the road. We're very good at home, so we have to make sure we get the job done here against the Rangers. We got the Athletics at home after this, and we know that's not going to be very easy either. And then we go on the road to the St. Louis Cardinals. So again, 7-4 record, obviously at home, but on the road, when you only win one game and you're, losing, 8, 9, 10 games on the road, it's not ideal. You definitely got to turn it around. The Astros and Mariners at the moment are two of the worst teams on the road. We know that both of those organizations can get better. And again, it's not only about the hitting. It's not only about starting pitching and the bullpen. It's not only about Dan Wilson and the closer, Andres Munoz. We just got to be able to stick together, as an organization and as a fan base, and just, have that blind faith that eventually things are going to get better. Now, on the flip side, being the worst hitting team in baseball a few weeks ago, then we ended up getting the mop, aka the sweep, when you win 4 games in a row against the Astros. Believe it or not, we actually have 3 players batting over 300. Luke Raley, 328. Brandon Donovan, 315, and Randy Arozarena, 300. And a lot of those other guys that were batting closer to 100 are getting closer to 200. And really the guy that needs to pick it up is Josh Naylor, batting 118. But I know he'll get better as the season goes along. Just keep giving me that leg kick, and we won't have any issues. Let's get situated here. All right, here we go. Logan Gilbert on the mound and Brandon Nimmo in the box. First pitch, high and away to Brandon Nimmo, 1-0 count. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Gilbert. And again, we got to be able to, try to win 2 out of 3. If we win the first 2 games in the set, then we can talk about a sweep. But ideally, trying to be able to win this series as well as the Athletics before we go to St. Louis and play the Cardinals on the road. It's very instrumental that we get the job done here in the Rangers series as well as the Athletics, and it won't be easy. 1-0 pitch is high and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Gilbert. 2 balls and no strikes to Brandon Nimmo. 2-0 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field, back, gone. Logan Gilbert giving up a home run right out of the gates to Brandon Nimmo. Say it ain't so. Nimmo homering to right, 372 feet, 1-0 Rangers. Come on, Logan. We need you to be better than that. Next up in the 2-hole, shortstop Corey Seager. On deck in the 3-hole, left fielder Wyatt Langford. And again, Logan Gilbert has struggled this season. We obviously know his first 2 starts were terrible. The last 2 starts were much, much better. But again, when you play a team that's already swept you early in the year, 3 games in Texas, not exactly what we want to see as Mariner fans, but I still feel we can win this game. First pitch, low and away to Corey Seager. Slider, 88 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Hawks in the building, what's good? Jimmy in the building, what's good? Logan in the building, what's good? Marine Bean in the building, what's good? And again, didn't even get a chance to acknowledge all of you guys before the home run. And Logan hits Seager in the leg. What the hell is going on here? Come on, Logan. Holy moly. Vapor with a tenor to get us started. I appreciate that. And hopefully that'll give us some better mojo than what we're seeing here early on. And again, Logan Gilbert, not the same pitcher that we're used to seeing, him and Andres Munoz. I don't know what I'm looking at. These guys have normally been very dominant, at their respective positions. But in 2026, I don't recognize this version of Logan Gilbert or Andres Munoz. And I just got to pray they get better. Seager gets hit by a pitch. Next up is Wyatt Langford. First pitch right down the middle for a strike. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour, 0-1 count. I mean, we already got Dan Wilson and Andres Munoz going against us. We can't have the starting pitcher, Logan Gilbert, going against us as well. Come on, boys. Pick it up. 0-1 pitch. Nice pitch right down the middle. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Gilbert. No balls and 2 strikes to Wyatt Langford. And remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, but not ideally the start that we wanted. 1-2 record with an ERA of 4.18 coming in to the game, and Nimmo already homering out of the gates. 0-2 pitch to Wyatt Langford, high and inside. Try to get the strikeout on that corner and just missed it. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wyatt Langford. Come on, baby. Let's go, Walter. Pick it up. And I got City Connect photos for everybody except for Brandon Donovan because they don't have one yet for him. And eventually, once the photographers do that, we'll have a full City Connect lineup. 1-2 pitch. Got him. Big swing and a miss. There we go. Nice punch out there by Logan Gilbert. And that is 1 away. And again, if that's the only home run that Logan gives up, we'll be just fine. And the maximum amount of, runs that he can give up with us still being able to compete, you would think would be 3. So hopefully it keeps it under 3, but giving up that early home run to Nimmo, not ideal. But also on the flip side, Nimmo's a damn good player. Hard hit ball there by Jake Berger. And it goes right past Brendan Donovan. Nice line drive there by Berger. And now you got runners at first and second with one out. Nice hit there by Jake Berger. Next up in the 5-hole, center fielder Evan Carter. And now, with the struggles early on here for Logan Gilbert, this particular start reminds me of start 1 and start 2, not start 3 and start 4. We need a double play. We need to stop the freaking bleeding now. And again, if we can get a slow dribbler up the middle, that would be fantastic. First pitch to Evan Carter is low and at the knees, but called a strike with a curveball off speed, 80 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And I don't know if it's just me, but when I watch Logan pitch, it seems like he has to put everything in every pitch with his whole body just to get it to home plate. It just seems like that delivery, it doesn't have that same kind of command and aura and vibe as it did a few years ago. It's like he almost is trying too hard and he's pressing. And again, with Kirby, it's more smooth, and he's got that, kind of silent confidence, and he's going to hit his spots. Wu has got the best aura on the team. He's got the electric stuff. But with Gilbert, again, he seems like he's more on the Castillo level rather than the Wu, Kirby, Hancock level. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and another punch out there on Evan Carter, and that was huge, and that is 2 away. And even with that being said, having to, have his whole body in it, at least, he got 2 Ks early on. We'll see if he ends up getting close to 7 to 9, before this one is over. But giving up that early home run was not ideal. But if that's the only run that comes aboard here in the first, we'll be just fine. First pitch to Jock Peterson, fouls it behind the plate, curveball, 80 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And again, I don't expect necessarily Jock to strike out, but you never know. He does pop up quite often, and I'll take anything but an RBI or a home run here. Got to get this win. We got to make up for the Padres sweep and make up for the sweep earlier in the year to the Rangers in Texas. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jock Peterson. Top of the first inning, Logan Gilbert looking shaky again here, like in start 1 and start 2. But again, he can stop the bleeding and put the Band-Aid on if we can get a punch out, pop up, or ground out here on Jock Peterson and leaving these runners stranded at first and second. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Nice heater. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Gilbert. And again, he's going to get some big strikeouts, but he's also going to give up some big hits and runs as well. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Come on, Logan. Let's see if we can get another punch out here or pop up. We'll take the ground out as well. Come on, Logan. And steps off the mound momentarily and takes a look back and a glance at second base. We don't want to have any balks getting called. We already got one, earlier with Wu to Josh Naylor, which was kind of phony if you ask me. 1-2 pitch to Jock Peterson. Big swing and a miss. There we go. That's the Logan that I remember. And again, to say at the very least that we're disappointed that he gave up a home run onto the first batter, yeah. But again, when things usually go downhill for Logan, that would have been like a 4-run first inning. And again, if we're down 4-0 in the first inning, based on Dan Wilson's managing, Andres Munoz's inability to close games out, as well as some guys not really getting the rhythm just yet, let's be honest, it would have felt like, oh God, is it already over already in the first inning? Even though we know it wouldn't be, but it would feel that way. But again, giving up the early home run and getting 3 punch outs, there's not a lot of guys that could do that. But remember, Logan Gilbert used to be an all-star. And then again, he may not be an all-star this season, but he's putting up an all-star performance after that home run by Nimmo. I like it. 3 punch outs after giving up a home run. Let's be real. How many guys could do that in MLB? Not many. Nice job, Logan, besides the home run. Now let's get back to business and let's see if we can end up tying this game up or taking the lead here in the bottom of the first. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We got to stay positive. Leading off for the Mariners at third base, Brendan Donovan. And hopefully they'll be able to get a good City Connect photo of him, so that way we won't have to use the blues or the steelhead photo or maybe the traditional whites. And I looked, and they just haven't taken a good one in the City Connect, but hopefully he does something tonight. And then maybe they'll have a new one for me to be able to post the next time around. Batting second, new photo here in the library. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh after hitting a home run. Love this photo. And batting third in the dugout, you know who it is. It's J-Rod, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. And on the mound for the Rangers, 1-0 record, ERA of 2.87, Jacob deGrom. Tridents up, let's go M's. First pitch, fouls it behind the plate, four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Chad in the building, what's good? Sean in the building, what's good? Dave in the building, what's good? Oh, 1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from DeGrom to Donovan. And hopefully we don't get any silly splits, with guys like Dominic Canzone and Luke Raley getting substituted for guys like Mitch Garver and Connor Joe. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field, but it is going to stay in play, and that is 1 away. Down goes Brendan Donovan. That is 1 out for Jacob deGrom. Next up for the Mariners, big dumper, catcher Cal Raleigh. On deck is Julio Rodriguez. Bring the electricity, Julio. Bring the electricity, Cal Raleigh. We need it here tonight. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Mike in the building, what's good? First pitch, low and away. Curveball off speed, 79 miles an hour there by deGrom, 1-0 count. After Logan Gilbert gave up a home run to the first batter, Brandon Nimmo, ended up getting a couple guys on base with back-to-back hits after that, but got 3 Ks after. And again, that's not something many guys can do. And that'll definitely give him some extra confidence the rest of the way. He might end up hitting 10 Ks today. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by deGrom. 2 balls and no strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. 2-0 pitch, low and away. Good patience here by Cal. And again, most of the time, when you have a 2-0 count, he doesn't even end up taking the walk. So again, he's got the green light here on a 3-0 count. But again, as long as we can get some guys on base early, it'll definitely be beneficial for the Mariners. 3-0 pitch from deGrom. And a 4-pitch walk to Cal Raleigh. I'll take that over a strikeout any day of the week. Nice job, Cal. Good patience there. Especially for a guy that hit 60 bombs last year, that's definitely pressing to get back on track. Speaking of a guy that has been getting back on track within the last 10 games, Julio Rodriguez, batting over 300 in that, time frame, even though he's left quite a few guys stranded, bases loaded against the Padres, runners at first and second, runners at first. But overall, Julio is starting to find a rhythm. And that's definitely something that's good to see. First pitch in there to Julio Rodriguez, 0-1 count. Career versus deGrom, it's pretty good. 5 for 13 with a home run. Anytime you can be batting, 300 to 400 in that typical range against a really good pitcher, you're cooking. 0-1 pitch, takes another strike. Come on, Julio. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And we know when Cal, Julio, as well as, Josh Naylor or anybody on the Mariners gets in an 0-2 count, usually it leads to a strikeout. Fight it through. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Now, if that was Julio last year, that would have been strike 3, swinging at a garbage pitch low and away. But good patience there by J-Rod. Slider, 90 miles an hour, missing on the corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first, Cal Raleigh, with 1 out. Come on, J-Rod. Tridents up. Let's go M's. 1-2 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field, all the way back to the wall to the Benjamin Moore sign. Go, Cal, run. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, and again, taking the walk, very essential. Now we got runners at third base and Cal with a beautiful double to right, Raleigh running his ass off to third. And here we go. Give me the leg kick, Josh Naylor, and it might end up being 3-1 here in a moment. Let's go. Tridents up. Have the faith. We always look good with the City Connect uniform. You look good, you feel good, you play good, and hopefully we can get the job done here with Naylor. Even an RBI single would be fantastic. Or even having deGrom have a meltdown and we can get bases loaded with 1 out and we can just string run after run after run. It would be great if we could end up getting 2, 3, 4, 5 runs in the first inning. but we'll take, even just a 1 at the very least, but hopefully we get more. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor. Take the walk, Josh. Again, if it's not there, be like Cal. Don't get greedy. And we want to make sure we're maximizing every opportunity. And how often do we get runners at second and third with 1 out in the first inning? Not often. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We got to get a minimum of 1 to tie the game up, which would, be the bare minimum, but again, could end up being 2, 3, 4, or even 5 runs, depending on how it goes here with Naylor and after Naylor. Come on, Josh. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We need this badly. We need to be able to beat this Ranger team, beat the Athletics at home before we go on the road to the Cardinals. 2-0 pitch, hard hit ball and fading foul. And we know Jordan Walker obviously, had some struggles in the box and is really killing it and seeing red over there in St. Louis in 2026. 2 balls and 1 strike from DeGrom to Naylor. Bottom of the first inning, Cal at third with a walk, Julio with a double, and obviously Cal scampering very, very quickly to get to that position. 2-1 pitch. Did he go around? And looks like he did. Damn it, Josh. Slider, 91 miles an hour, fooled Josh Naylor. 2 balls and 2 strikes from DeGrom to Naylor. Come on, baby. And Naylor called time. Make sure you get the batting gloves adjusted. Come on, Nails. Runners at second and third. Cal at third. Julio at second with a double. Next on deck is Randy Arozarena. Remember, we got 3 players batting over 300 now. 2-2 pitch to Naylor. And foul just off himself. Thank God, got a little bit of a piece there. Curveball, 82 miles an hour there on DeGrom. And anytime you can rough up, a starting pitcher as a notable name like Jacob DeGrom, getting him to exit before pitching all 6 innings would be ideal. And really roughing him up early in the first 2 innings would be something that we desperately need if we can get it. Shout out to Julio with that big double. 2-2 pitch. Oh, low and at the knees. Almost hits Naylor. And he has to kind of skip out of the way at the last minute there. Slider, 91 miles an hour. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. And again, if it's not there, Josh, just take the walk. I know you want to hit the big home run. You want to get the big RBI, but don't waste an opportunity here based on how things have gone with Dan Wilson managing this team and Andres Munoz not being trustworthy in the pen. We need to take advantage. Swing if it's only right down the middle. 3-2 pitch. And he does swing at it right down the middle and fouls it towards first base. Got a little bit of a piece, and he starts to hobble towards first base. And hopefully he'll be able to walk that off. Josh is a pretty tough guy. Bottom of the first inning, 1-0 Rangers, and a solo dinger by Brandon Nimmo off Logan Gilbert to start it off, and then gave up a few singles after that, but retired the side after that, getting 3 punch-outs after giving up a first inning home run. And again, we're just trying to be able to match this, same type of energy the Rangers are bringing. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball, shallow left field. Oh, foul. That would have been amazing if it would have dropped there in fair territory, right in between the third baseman and the left fielder, but no luck there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 1 out. I want to see some bunting today too. Not necessarily by Josh Naylor here, of course, but again, JP Crawford and a few others definitely are capable. I want to see some stolen bags. I want to see some bunting. Give me some small ball. Come on, Naylor. 3-2 pitch. Naylor pops it up, fading out of play. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by Jacob DeGrom. Bottom of the first inning, runners at second and third. Julio with a double. Cal got walked in his first at bat. Runners at second and third with 1 out. We have to take advantage. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 3-2 pitch to Naylor. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. Here we go. Bases loaded for one of our 3 players that's batting over 300. Luke Raley, number 1, in hits, RBIs, and home runs. And then you got Brandon Donovan, 2. And guess what? Randy Arozarena, he might suck at ground balls in left field, but again, in the box, he's batting 300. Let's go, Randy. First pitch to Randy, crushes it into right field, fading foul. Slider, 90 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Now, obviously, getting the mustard and the rye bread would be fantastic, and getting the grand salami, but again, we don't need to get too greedy. We just want to produce. Come on, Randy. 0-1 pitch. Crushes that one into right field again, putting his whole body into every swing. He feels the pressure. No balls and 2 strikes from DeGrom to Arosarena. Change up 90 miles an hour there by DeGrom. Hasn't been able to find his spots. Got to make him pay. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Great job by Randy by not striking out there. And again, in an 0-2 count in the past, Cal, Julio, Randy, and Naylor, and many others on a pitch low and away would swing and miss, and that would be strike 3, but not the case here, at least in the bottom of the first inning. 1-2 pitch by DeGrom. Fouls it back to the T-Mobile bricks. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour to Randy Arosarena. Jacob DeGrom, 1-0 record with an ERA of 2.87 coming in, has been pretty good. And Randy Arosarena batting .300, even though the defense, as far as ground balls in left field, are a liability. Everything else pretty good. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Randy. He can't cash in. That's unfortunate, and that is 2 away. But it leads up to our best hitter on the team, number 1 in hits, number 1 in RBIs, number 1 in home runs. Dan Wilson, don't you dare pull him and run some splits, bringing in Connor Joe. It is Luke Raley. And again, we definitely know that Luke was overdue for a nuke. He got one a few games ago. Let's see if Luke Raley can cash in for the Mariners here. Let's go, Luke. First pitch, low and away, 1-0 count. And even if that means Luke Raley takes a walk and we get Cal Raleigh to come home from third, that's still going to be great for us moving forward. We'll take any run that we can get. Bottom of the first inning, bases loaded with 2 outs. 1-0 pitch from DeGrom to Luke Raley, low and at the knees. 2 ball, no strikes to Luke Raley. Here we go, Luke. Give us that patience. Let's go, Luke Raley. Who would have thought that Luke Raley would be number 1 in batting average, home runs, and RBIs at this stage of the year? But I am so thankful he is on our team. 2-0 pitch from DeGrom. Big swing and a miss. He was going for a moonshot there. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by Jacob DeGrom. 2 balls and 1 strike with bases loaded and 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning, 1-0 Rangers. We're at Brandon Nimmo, solo dinger off of you-know-who, Logan Gilbert. Let's see if we can match that. Let's go. 2-1 pitch. There we go. Low and at the knees. Almost hits Raley. 3 balls and 1 strike to Luke Raley. DeGrom can't hit the strike zone. So again, don't bail him out swinging at garbage. Here we go. Let's see if we can bring Cal Raleigh home with the walk, or if Luke Raley can get a hold of one here. Come on, Luke. And Raley calls time. Jacob DeGrom on the mound. Luke Raley in the box. Let's go, Luke. 3-1 pitch by DeGrom. And Raley pops it up and fading foul. Oh, man. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. Come on, Luke. Take the walk or get an RBI single at the very least. Let's keep it moving. Zach in the building. What's good? 3-2 pitch. Fuck! Big swing and a miss, and we leave it stranded. Damn it, and Luke usually comes through in that situation. Same thing with Randy. We leave 3 stranded. Oh, man, brutal. Again, especially after getting swept by the Padres, the vibes are up in Seattle in front of the home crowd. Definitely unfortunate, but to be positive, on the bright side, at least we got guys on base in the first inning. And hopefully that'll bleed over into the second and third, and hopefully we'll be able to tie this game up or take the lead within the first 4 innings. Definitely a missed opportunity by the Mariners there, but again, we had 2 of our best, hitters above 300 in the box that just couldn't get it done. End of the first inning, 1-0 Rangers, but the overall vibe, I feel, is still pretty good. DeGrom really isn't hitting his spots. We were able to get bases loaded early, even though we didn't score. It's just a matter of time to wear him down, where he's not going to get that big punch out on some of the guys, and he's going to give up a big home run or a big RBI sooner than later. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the second inning for the Texas Rangers. Next up for the Rangers in the 7-hole, third baseman Josh Young. Batting second in the 8-hole, second baseman Josh Smith. And batting third in the 9-hole, catcher Danny Jansen. And on the mound with a 1-2 record coming into the game, ERA of 4.18, it is Logan Gilbert, who was terrible in his first 2 starts, better in his last 2, but also, looked like the player in his first 2 starts on batter number 1, Brandon Nimmo. But after that, was able to get 3 punch-outs in the first inning. Let's see if Logan Gilbert can, not give up any more home runs in this game. We're going to need him to be as clean as possible. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. All right, we gained another sub since the last commercial break. We only need 3 subs to go to hit 23,800. First pitch to Josh Young, takes a strike right down the middle, 0-1 count. All right, we're at 44 likes, 56 to 100. Pitch is inside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Young. One pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Young. I mean, after the Nimmo home run, he gave up a couple hits and was definitely looking shaky, but to 3 punch outs after giving up a home run, almost no one does that. So let's see if he can settle in. 1-2 pitch, hard hit ball, shallow center field. Julio is there, goes over his head at the very last minute, and Josh Young is going to get a stand-up double. That definitely carried a little bit there as soon as it got about halfway to the end destination. Wow. Nice base knock there by Josh Young, getting a little bit of wind. Next up, second baseman is Josh Smith. On deck is Danny Jansen. And we're definitely going to need the defense to bail Logan out a few times in this game. It definitely feels that way. Hopefully we'll be able to get a few double plays to help him out, because he's going to give up hits, it looks like, here today. First pitch to Josh Smith. Takes a strike looking with a 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. We want positivity, baby. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Smith. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Rangers. Runner at second with no outs. Gilbert on the mound, Josh Smith in the box. Bash in the building, what's good? One pitch from Gilbert. Crushed into left field, fading foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Smith. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Josh Smith in the box. 1-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. Good defense there by Cal, using that chest protector effectively. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Smith. Come on, Logan. 2-2 pitch. And a dribbler up the middle. Should be a routine play to first. Naylor's got it, and that is 1 away. Josh Young scampers to third. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Next up in the 9-hole, catcher Danny Jansen. Little dribbler here by Jansen. Runner at third cannot go. Throw to first just in time. Great defense there by Brandon Donovan. Not only to make sure that runner from third, Josh Young, doesn't come home. You know, if you run right behind him, he's going to see you. And getting that throw strong enough, you know, to be able to get to first as that runner. Obviously, Jansen was hustling, you know, to first base. Great job there by our boy, Brandon Donovan. He's getting better and better at third base for defense. Nice job. Way to bring that electricity. That is 2 away. Next up is Brandon Nimmo, who hit a home run in his first at-bat. Don't you dare think about doing it again. 1 for 1 with a run in an RBI, and Nimmo is definitely an underrated player. There's no doubt about that. First pitch to Nimmo, low and away. Obviously learned his lesson the first time, going right down the middle to Nimmo. 1-0 count. Slider, 85 miles an hour there by Gilbert. We got a runner at third, Josh Young, with 2 outs. And hopefully we'll keep him stranded and keep him there, and we can tie the game up or take the lead here in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 pitch. There we go. Nice strike, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Nimmo. Top of the second inning with a runner at third with 2 outs. Curveball, 79 miles an hour, off speed on that last pitch. 1-1 pitch to Nimmo, and fouls it towards left field, out of play. Cutter, 91 miles an hour there by Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Brandon Nimmo. It'd be fantastic if we can get a punch out here on Nimmo, but we'll take a pop up or a ground out. You know, any type of way that we can get out of this inning unscathed. One-two pitch, low and at the knees. Slider, 87 miles an hour there by Gilbert. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Nimmo. I don't know about a dog Smith, but I'm a dog father. She did get sick earlier today, but again, I'm definitely keeping a close eye on her. So she's got a sensitive stomach, and you know, she definitely got sick today. So it always pains me to see my pup, you know, whether, you know, they're having bathroom issues or if they end up, you know, throwing up and having a sensitive stomach and whatnot. So I'm hoping that she'll be okay the rest of the night. 2-2 pitch, little dribbler into shallow right field. Luke Raley, my boy. Great defensive play by Luke Raley, coming up big off one knee. And he's been doing that pretty often now. Luke Raley making those sliding grabs there in right field. Nice job, Luke. Love it. Nice job, Luke. That was big. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning. Luke Raley couldn't come up with a big hit, you know, in that first at bat, but I got the utmost confidence in him. But he makes up for it with a nice big play there in right field that would have scored another run. There's no doubt about that. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners in the bottom of the second inning. Next up in the 7-hole, ice water in his veins, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, the Italian Stallion. DHing in the 8-hole, Dominic Canzone, who is definitely overdue for a home run. Same thing with J.P. Crawford. And batting third in the 9-hole, second baseman, one of the best defenders at second base this year in 2026. Just needs to get back into that rhythm in the box. It is Cole Young. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. We gained another sub since the last commercial break. 2 subs to go to 23,800. We're going to hit that number here tonight. All right, we're at 56 likes. 44 to 100. We got a brand new Julio image there on the thumb that I manufactured here today. He's looking good. Let's go, baby. First pitch from DeGrom to J.P. Crawford, low and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away. Curveball, off speed, 80 miles an hour by DeGrom. 2 balls and no strikes to J.P. Crawford. And if we're watching closely, DeGrom is having a hard time punching guys out and hitting the strike zone. So we have to make sure we take advantage of that. 2-0 pitch, hard hit ball, deep left field. Oh, what a catch. Unbelievable. Wyatt Langford there in left field showing some athleticism. If he wasn't able to get to that ball, that would have been an easy stand-up double for J.P. Crawford. Great play there by Wyatt Langford. Down goes JP, but hopefully he'll be able to get a nice hit at some point later in the matchup. Next up in the 8-hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. On deck is Cole Young. And that Langford play, you know, they were doing that in the first series in Texas where we got swept. So, you know, we definitely have to give this team a little bit of payback. Xavier in the building, what's good? Alec in the building, what's good? 0-1 pitch, and Young pops it up a mile here into the infield. You got 4 Rangers there, and finally you end up getting Josh Young saying, get the hell out of my way, I got it. And that is 2 away. And Cole Young was really hot to start the year, but he's starting to kind of fizzle out. Needs to be a little bit more patient in the box, and I know he'll be able to, you know, get back to where he was at the beginning of the year. We still love you, Cole. Canzone pops up, not Cole Young, excuse me. So Canzone pops up. Next up is Cole Young. I'm getting ahead of myself. First pitch to Cole Young, high and away, 1-0 count. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Rangers. JP, you know, flying out to left. Canzone popping up, another individual that needs to work the count, especially if you know the pitcher has been a little shaky. There's no real reason to be swinging at the first pitch. Hell, maybe not even the first couple pitches, especially most of the time that they're balls. So, you know, be patient against a guy that doesn't have the control. 1-1 pitch, popped up, and that goes out of play. Change up 89 miles an hour by DeGrom. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Rangers. You know, and it's one thing when you got a guy that's pitching right down the middle and getting, you know, everyone into an 0-2 count. Then I get, you know, being aggressive and trying to swing. But when you know that they're having a hard time getting strikes on the first 2 pitches, you know, be a little patient there. That perfect pitch will come. And usually if it gets to pitch 3, pitch 4, pitch 5, sometimes that'll be a better pitch to be able to get a big hit on. 1-2 pitch. And there we go. My boy, Cole Young, into right field, doing the job that we know he always can do. Nice job, Cole. My boy. There you go. Way to get back on track. Dominic Canzone, take notes. Nice job, Cole. Next up, third baseman Brendan Donovan. We've already seen him make some pretty good plays at third base, but we need him in the box to be able to open the game up. Let's go, Donnie. First pitch, high and away, 1-0 count. Let's go, Donnie. One-0 pitch from DeGrom, low and at the knees, just like I was mentioning. First 2 pitches, not really in the strike zone. 2 balls and no strikes to Brendan Donovan. And, you know, this definitely would make me happy if he was able to pull off a big 2-run blast to give us the lead. But we just need production, you know, any way we can get. Two-0 pitch. Pops it up. And it's going to stay in fair territory. And that is out number 3. That's unfortunate. Oh, brutal. End of the second inning, 1-0 Rangers. And eventually we're going to break through. You know, it doesn't feel like DeGrom's got electric stuff and, you know, we're not able to, you know, see anything on him. You know, he's definitely hittable. You know, you just got to be able to find your pitch. All right, let's go to the top of the third inning and see who's up next here for the Rangers. Next up for the Rangers in the 2-hole, shortstop Corey Seager. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a K. Made that athletic grab there in left field on J.P. Crawford a few minutes ago. Left fielder Wyatt Langford. And batting third, 1 for 1, first baseman in the 4-hole, cleanup hitter Jake Berger. And on the mound for the Mariners, it is Logan Gilbert. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. All right, we gained another sub since the last commercial break. Now we're only one sub away from 23,800. Let's go. All right, we're at 65 likes, 35 to 100. We're making some ground. And we're at 10 on the Dono train with Vapor getting us started, 90 to go. Shout out to Vapor. Let's go, Logan. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, the home run by Nimmo. No walks, 3 Ks, 32 pitches, 21 strikes, ERA of 4.21. And his ERA was 4.18 coming in. And just like Double A said, 45 pitches, through 2, we have to take advantage of that. 26 strikes out of 45 pitches. So, you have to make sure you're not bailing out a pitcher that's not hitting the strike zone. First pitch is high and away with the splitter, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field, going over Rayleigh's head, off the wall. Get it, Luke. And that's going to be a stand-up double for Corey Seager. Quite a few hits have been hitting the wall. I mean, I'll take that instead of home runs, but definitely very concerning here with Logan Gilbert. Nice base knock there by Corey Seager. Next up is Wyatt Langford. Fanny pack hat might be the ugliest giveaway the Mariners have ever done. They're trying to sell it on the broadcast like it's this really cool item. Like, I like unique items. Don't get me wrong. I love cool, unique items, but again, it's either a hat or a fanny pack, not combined together in a hat, and again, it maybe for like a little kid, that they could enjoy it, but and based on the colors that they chose as well, definitely wouldn't be something that I would want as a Mariner fan. They got to be better, and normally they are, with their hats and their bobbleheads, but I don't know what happened with the creativity with that one, They came into the boardroom and said, hey, we're going to put a fanny pack on a hat. And they all agreed, yeah, that would look good. Maybe for little kids, but not for adults. Come on, Logan. First pitch to Wyatt Langford. Pops it behind the plate. 0-1 count. But I will say this. The Mariners do have some of the best giveaways in baseball. Most of their baubles actually look like the player. The hats that they give away are fire. They usually don't have a bad hat that they typically give away, which is very rare in baseball. They got jerseys and other things that usually are, above average. So, but the fanny pack hat, that's a stretch. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees, splitter 80 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wyatt Langford. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Gilbert on the mound, Langford in the box. 1-1 pitch, right down the middle with the strike. Nice pitch there by Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wyatt Langford. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. There by Walter with a runner at second and no outs. Hard hit ball into left field. Oh no, it's a ground ball to Randy. We know what happens with that. Runner is coming home, and now it's 2-0 Rangers. And And again, Gilbert definitely does not look like he did in number 3 and number 4. This is definitely looking like the Gilbert, in the first 2, games, even though it's not as bad yet. But he definitely isn't really doing a whole lot. I mean, he was lucky to even get those 3 punch outs in the first inning, if we're really being honest. Doesn't really have the speed or the location that we need him to have to be able to get the job done. And we definitely are going to need the bats to come alive, and we're going to need some defensive help because he definitely doesn't have it today. Next up is Jake Berger. First pitch, big, swing and a miss, 0-1 count. I mean, no matter what colors you chose for a fanny pack hat, it's just, very, very strange. Maybe the strangest giveaway I think I've seen the Mariners ever do. 0-1 pitch, popped up and behind the plate to the T-Mobile sign and the T-Mobile bricks. Curveball 80 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. No balls and 2 strikes to Jake Berger. We need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. I mean, we're already down 2-0. We had bases loaded. We weren't able to cash in. We got to be able to keep this game close. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jake Berger. Top of the 3rd inning, 2-0 Rangers. Come on, baby. And right now, even though Logan Gilbert is the 1 in the rotation, let's be honest, he's the 4 this year, based on how they've been playing, right? Emerson Hancock, Brian Wu, George Kirby have been damn good. Even though the win-loss record should be better, they haven't got as much run support. And then obviously Hancock had Mooney and Dan Wilson blow the game for him, a few days ago. But, Gilbert is closer to Luis Castillo level rather than Kirby, Wu, and Hancock, if we're really being honest. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Does he go around? No, he doesn't. And that's kind of a weird thing to say. Normally Logan is there with Kirby and Wu as the top guys, and Hancock and Castillo are at the bottom with Miller, but things have kind of flip-flopped. And we have to be happy that Hancock is good this year, but Gilbert has definitely gone in the wrong direction. Pretty much we just swapped Hancock for Gilbert. That's what happened, Wu and Kirby are still great, but now Hancock is better than Gilbert, and that is a concern. 2-2 pitch to Jake Berger, incoming here from Logan Gilbert. Hard hit ball towards 3rd and foul. And I don't really have a whole lot of confidence when Logan is on the mound. It's just seems like he has to give his, full body effort on every pitch just to get it there. He doesn't seem comfortable at all, and it shows. Wu and Hancock and Kirby have kind of an aura about them, and, Gilbert and Castillo look like they're just trying to survive. 2-2 pitch, check swing, gets a little bit of a piece there. And that actually gets deflected from the bat, and it hits Cal on the arm. Fuck, man. We can't catch a break. Hopefully Cal is okay. He's a tough SOB. Just trying to walk it off. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. We need a fucking strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. And honestly, after he gave up the Wyatt or the Brandon Nimmo home run, I don't even know how the hell he got 3 Ks in that first inning. Because, now here in the 3rd, he's almost having a mini meltdown. Come on, Logan. Throw to first, and Langford is safe. And you got to remember, when you're on a losing streak, everything gets magnified. Every pitch, every hit, every decision Dan Wilson makes was bad substitutions. Every meltdown that Mooney has, everything gets magnified times 1,000. But when you're winning, you can let shit go. 2-2 pitch, and that's fouled off out of play, because winning cures everything, right? You end up winning a game and some of the guys play like shit. You're like, well, we still won, but again, when you end up losing over and over, and then you start to, kind of rally, but then you end up failing again, everything gets magnified, and, there's quite a few things that need to change. 2-2 pitch, And a little dribbler towards left field. Foul. Holy moly. And good thing that was foul, because if that would have been fair to Randy, that runner from first would have scored. And that's the difference when you have a good left fielder defensively. You can hold a guy, to maybe second or third base. But if it's Randy, someone at first base could actually make it all the way home. And that is not good. Top of the third inning, 2-0 Rangers. I still believe that we can come back and win this game. I mean, we have to feed off the crowd. We got the 3-game set here against the Rangers. And obviously we got another set against the Athletics. We got to win as many as we can. And then we go on the road to the Cardinals. And we know Jordan Walker has been heating up. 2-2 pitch to Berger. Pops it up and out of play. And this is the 10th pitch to Jake Berger, showing how Gilbert is struggling. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Gilbert's at 48 pitches. DeGrom's at 45. So neither one has really done that well. The difference is DeGrom hasn't given up any runs, but he almost did when we had bases loaded. 2-2 pitch. Dribbler towards third base and foul. I just wish Randy or Luke would have been able to get us a 1, give us an RBI single, and it would feel a little bit better right now being down 2-1 rather than 2-0. And at that moment, it would have been 1-1 before, obviously, he just gave up the run a few minutes ago. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Sinker, 91 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jake Berger. And Logan steps off the mound. Top of the third inning, 2-0 Rangers. Runner at first with no outs. We need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. We got to keep this game somewhat close. Things have been very up and down, for the Mariners this season. 3-2 pitch. There we go. Huge strikeout on Jake Berger on the 13th pitch. And normally when you go past 10, it ends up being a single, double, triple, home run, or a walk. Nice job by Logan Gilbert. 4th K for him. And now we need that double play like I mentioned. Strikeout, double play, strikeout. We need a little bit of luck here. Sports gods, are you listening? We need the double play. Evan Carter, little dribbler. And no one is available there to be able to make the play. Holy hell. That was a great play there by Evan Carter. He's like, this is the perfect opportunity to either bunt or, to be able to, get a little blooper there. He bunts it down third base perfectly, and there's no opportunity for Donovan to make the play. Bunt single there by Evan Carter, one of the better bunts that I've seen this year. Now we got runners at first and second with 1 out, and we still have an opportunity to get out Jock Peterson with a double play. Let's go. Fantastic bunt. Michelle in the building. How are you? A little blooper that lands right in front of Julio. Gosh, man, Logan stinks today. Ay. Jock Peterson, little blooper. Julio had no chance to dive for that one. And next up is Josh Young. Please double play. Man, this is, Logan Gilbert looking like Luis Castillo out there, and thankfully Emerson Hancock, has gotten better, but Logan Gilbert has gotten a hell of a lot worse. Him and Castillo are in the doghouse. I mean, I'm glad that we have Wu and Kirby and Hancock, and, Miller is, with the rehab. He's still about a month away, but, for a guy that used to be an all-star, he doesn't look like an all-star this year. I mean, Gilbert stinks, Mooney stinks, Dan Wilson stinks. We can't have so many guys stink, and again, we've had some guys that started slow that are doing better now. We got Randy above 300, going into the game. Luke Raley has been fantastic this year, leading in batting average, RBIs, and home runs. Julio's been hot in the last 10 games. Again, it's just about, finding the right type of combination of players to get the job done. Come on, Logan. We need you to be the old Logan Gilbert, not fucking Luis Castillo's fucking roommate out there. Jesus. And nobody's intimidated by Logan Gilbert today, let me tell you. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Josh Young in the box. Can we get the double play that we desperately need? I need a slow dribbler up the middle to JP or Young. Throw to Naylor. First pitch, big swing and a miss to Josh Young, who's 1 for 1 today. Slider, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Oh, 1 pitch. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Young. And some guys, they can't hit the strike zone. That's Luis Castillo all over the place. And then when he does go in the strike zone, it ends up being a home run or a big RBI. Here with Gilbert, he's, not really hitting, a whole lot of the strike zone a lot of the time. And when he is trying to throw it there, he's getting beat up. He's not really getting, a lot of these, strikes past the hitters. Even though he does have 4 Ks, it's not really looking like a great outing here. Got to find a way to keep this game close here. We don't want them to open this game up in the third. Bases loaded with 1 out, top of the 3rd inning. Mariners need a little Sodo mojo. We need a little Mariner miracle. Gilbert on the mound, Josh Young in the box. Give me that slow dribbler up the middle for a double play, please. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Young. Come on, Gilbert. What happened to the Logan I used to know? What happened to Mooney? And Dan has always been below average. 2 balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 1 out. 2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball. Here we go. Here we go. Double play. Yes, sir. Let's go. It's my ESP. I'm not going to be able to predict every home run. I'm not going to be able to predict every double play, but again, more times than not, we're going to come up with a few predictions that'll come true. And that one is saving the game. Let's be real right there, because if that doesn't happen, we're going to be down 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. And realistically, the game is probably over. Like, we will still rally and we'll probably still score a couple runs. But, based on, the game being 4-5-0 in the third. And then if they keep Logan out there for a few more, realistically, based on how we played, that would have been a really uphill climb. But thankfully, the sports gods listened and said, you know what? Yeah, we're going to give them the double play there. Nice job. Let's go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and let's see if we can at least get 1 on the board. We don't need to be too greedy. Of course, getting the game tied or taking the lead would be the best case scenario, but at least at this point, let's get to at least 1, stop the bleeding, and if we can get to 1, we'll definitely get to 2 sooner than later. Let's go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Nice job by the defense there. I knew they can do it. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners. Trident's up. Next up for the Mariners, 0-for-0 with a base on ball. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And if there was ever a moment that we needed that bat to come alive, it's right fucking now. Batting second, 1-for-1, center fielder Julio Rodriguez, who's been fantastic in the last 10 games, batting over 300. And batting third, 0-for-0 with a base on ball, first baseman Josh Naylor. Give me the damn leg kick so we can end up getting some runs. Let's go. Nice job, Donnie. One sub away from 23,800. We got 174 in the room. Let's get it. And that definitely saved the game. Brandon Donovan playing a new position and definitely killing it lately. Great job. All right, we're at 75 likes, 25 to 100. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch to big dumper, fouls it off. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Jacob deGrom. No balls and 1 strike to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. 0-1 pitch. High and away, but in the strike zone. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Change up 89 miles an hour there by deGrom. First pitch was fouled out of play, out of the zone. And pitch number 3, fouled towards first base with the laser. Slider 89 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And again, I feel like situational awareness, you have to be able to recognize, what's going on with your team and what's going on with yourself, in the box or in the outfield. 0-2 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field. Fading foul. I was hoping that was going to end up being a big home run. Just getting us to 1 would have been huge. Let's go, big dumper. Everybody out there fighting for that Cal Raleigh foul ball. I don't blame them. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Curveball 81 miles an hour there by Jacob deGrom. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Julio on deck. 1-2 pitch. Oh, that almost hit him. Cal had to jump out of the way. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. I mean, we got to take what we can get. But Brandon Donovan saved the game, after being down 2-0. Because again, if that doesn't happen, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, based on how things have gone for us lately, would have been tough. 2-2 pitch. Fouls it off himself. Hopefully he's okay. Slider 91 miles an hour there by deGrom. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 2-0 Rangers. We need to give them some payback. We got swept by Texas early this season. We got to get it back. 2-2 pitch. Inside. Good eye there by Cal. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. High and at the knees. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Especially with an 0-2 count to get it to 3-2. Not an easy thing to do. Anyone that plays baseball will tell you that. 3-2 pitch and a little dribbler towards first base. A flip to the pitcher, and that is 1 away. And hopefully next time that'll end up being a home run or a ball hit deeper, past the first baseman. Down goes Cal Raleigh with a little slow dribbler, grounds out to first, and that is 1 away. Next up, a player that's been hot in the last 10 games, center fielder Julio Rodriguez, who started the game with a double. Now let's see if we can end up getting some magic here in the box. Let's go, Julio. He's definitely due for a home run. First pitch to Julio, low and away, 1-0 count. Come on, J-Rod. 1-0 pitch. Pops it behind the plate. Sinker 96 miles an hour with that foul ball. 1 ball and 1 strike from Jacob deGrom to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, J-Rod. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 1-1 pitch. Fouls that one off towards third base. Change up 90 miles an hour there by deGrom. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 2-0 Rangers. I just want us to get to 1. Stop the bleeding so that way we don't have to look at that donut and that 0 above and next to the Mariner name. And then again, once we get to 1, we'll definitely be able to get to 2 or 3 pretty quick after that. We just got to find someone to break through. 1-2 pitch from deGrom. Hard hit ball into deep right field, fading foul. Slider 90 miles an hour there by Jacob deGrom. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Pitch count has been pretty high for both guys. 1-2 pitch. And straightaway center. Should be an easy play there. And that is 2 away. Down goes Julio, popping up to shallow center. Next up, cleanup hitter, first baseman Josh Naylor. And if Josh can just use that leg kick, he can get a home run and make this game 2-1, or at least get on base with a single. Come on, Josh. Give me the leg kick. Little leg kick there. First pitch. Low and at the knees. Curveball 82 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Come on, Naylor. We need you. Let's go, Nails. 1-0 pitch from deGrom. Fouls that one back behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. One pitch from DeGrom. And a little dribbler towards first base and foul. Jacob DeGrom on the mound. Josh Naylor in the box. Come on, Nails. And Nails is definitely, struggling the most. He was a bottom 2 hitter in baseball. A lot of the other guys have gotten better. Naylor needs to put some work in here. 1-2 pitch, a little dribbler towards first base. And luckily, it goes foul just in time. That would have been a crappy way to end the bottom of the 3rd inning with a slow dribbler right there to first base. Come on, Josh. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Just got to have the faith. No matter how bad things are going, things could be much worse. Obviously an 8-12 record is not what we, wanted, but it could be, much worse than that if you think of all the things that have gone against us this year. 1-2 pitch from DeGrom. And a hard hit ball. Yes! And it gets through. That's my boy, Josh Naylor. Nice job there. Little mini leg kick. And look at that. It ends up getting past the infield and all the way into right field. Nice job, Josh Naylor. Here we go. Next up, in the 5-hole, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. On deck is Luke Raley. Come on, baby. If we can get to Luke Raley in this inning, we might be able to get the game to 2-1 or possibly 2-2 unless Randy homers here. Randy is definitely due for a homer. There's no doubt about that, but hell, at this point, I'll take anything from Randy. But Randy, Brandon Donovan, and Luke Raley are all batting over 300 coming into the game, so Randy is just under 300 now at 296. Needs a hit to get back to 300. 0-1 pitch. And big swing and a miss there, high and inside. DeGrom fools him. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. And Randy wasn't able to cash in. Again, neither was Luke Raley, and we need those guys to be able to get the job done, especially when we have, guys at first and second, or bases loaded. 0-2 pitch. Crushes it into right field, fading foul. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by DeGrom. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Josh Naylor with 2 outs. Come on, Randy. Take this baseball to Randy land. 0-2 pitch. And fouls it behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Jacob DeGrom on the mound. Randy Arozarena in the box. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Come on, baby. Oh-2 pitch. Low and away. Good eye there by Arozarena. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Randy in the box. Luke Raley on deck. Number 1 in batting average, number 1 in home runs, number 1 in RBIs. 1-2 pitch. And a little dribbler up the middle, right to the second baseman. Unbelievable. And that is going to retire the Seattle Mariners. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? I mean, he didn't even have to move. It went right to him. And down go the Mariners, leaving 1 stranded. Let's go to the top of the 4th inning and see who's next up for the Rangers. I mean, we might have to just wait for DeGrom to exit, and we can hope for a mini meltdown by one of the guys in the pen. But again, DeGrom really hasn't been that good. I mean, we've been able to get a few hits on him. We've gotten 3, but again, we haven't been able to cash in. On the flip side, Logan Gilbert has given up 7 hits and a home run. So quite a bit of a difference there between DeGrom and Logan Gilbert. Next up for the Rangers, 0 for 1. Second baseman in the 8-hole, Josh Smith. Batting second in the 9-hole, catcher, 0 for 1, Danny Jansen. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run and an RBI, had a home run in the first inning off Logan Gilbert, Brandon Nimmo. That's my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats YouTube. We're still one sub away from 23,800. We got 156 in the room. If you haven't subbed to the channel yet, please do. And then our goal will be 23,900 moving forward. All right, we're at 84 likes, 16 to get to our first goal. All right, we're at 84, 16 to get to 100. Oh, God, Brendan Donovan is out? Holy hell. What happened? I mean, we already had him with a growing issue and had the flu, and now Donnie is out. Leo Rivas is at third. I mean, it just seems like every single day that we play, we have another piece of adversity that we have to fight. And we have to, we have to deal with a, below average manager and Dan Wilson. Logan Gilbert and Andres Munoz are terrible this year, and now Donovan with the growing, Donovan with the flu, and now Donovan exits the game early. I didn't really see what happened with him, but obviously maybe the growing might have gotten pulled, on that double play, possibly, we just have to stay as positive as possible. But again, one of our best hitters not available now, and hopefully Leo Rivas will be okay. So they didn't pull him. He had to exit the game probably due to an injury. And hopefully it's just minor and he only misses a game or two. First pitch is fouled off, 0-1 count. But again, who knows? Maybe Leo will come up with an unexpected home run or RBI. I mean, it's possible. 1-1 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Josh Smith. I'll always, I'll call out, and I'll crash out, once in a while, but not often, especially with Dan Wilson and Ian Mooney, in that game that we blew, when we had a 6-2 lead. But 99.999%, I'm definitely going to be optimistic and I'll be overly positive. But again, we can't act like, certain things aren't going wrong when they're going wrong. We can acknowledge it, but we don't need to, harp on it. We can just, move forward. 2-2 pitch, popped up. And again, the more, runs that we can put on the board, things aren't going to get as magnified. We're down 2-0. Logan Gilbert doesn't look good. We can't trust Dan Wilson as a manager, but once we get to 1 or 2, we can kind of put some of that shit behind us, and things won't be as magnified. We just need to be able to get a home run or an RBI, whether it's on DeGrom or someone after him. 2-2 pitch, and Smith fouls that one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Smith. Logan Gilbert on the mound, Josh Smith in the box. And again, I've been watching this team since the mid-'80s. They had a 20-year run where they didn't make the playoffs, and we had no chance of making it. And I still watched, every game beginning to end. So, I mean, us Mariner fans, and if you're a fan of a team in Oregon or Washington, we're built a little different. You have to be mentally tough to be a fan of a team in Oregon or Washington. Sometimes the teams are going to be great. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 years to build up to be a championship-worthy team, and there's going to be sadness and disappointment, but there's going to be joy, and you got to be tough, mentally to be able to be a fan of a team like this. 2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball into left field, fading foul by Josh Smith. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Smith. Top of the 4th inning, 2-0 Rangers. And again, things could always be worse with the Mariners and in life, right? Like, imagine if we didn't get that double play. Maybe we're down 5-0 right now. So again, we just have to be able to get that first run on the board. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And down goes Josh Smith. And that's the 5th punch out there for Logan Gilbert. I mean, this might be the crappiest 5K performance so far for Logan Gilbert, but I guess, it's better than having no Ks. He's at 67 pitches, 47 strikes, and 5 Ks, but he's given up 7 hits, and that's just way too many. Next up is Danny Jansen. First pitch to Jansen, hits the corner, 0-1 count. Logan Gilbert on the mound, Danny Jansen in the box. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. I mean, I only really crashed out on the channel once. You know, it was the game where we were up 6-2. Emerson Hancock should have got the win, and Mooney and Ferrer gave up 5 runs and we lost, you know. And again, there's a reason why to crash out in a game like that. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there by Jansen. Nice curveball by Gilbert, 78 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. And then obviously last night, you know, playing the splits and taking out, Dominic Canzone for Mitch Garver, stupid. And then taking out Luke Raley for Connor Joe, you know, that was dumb as well. So, and we know Luke Raley has a hard time hitting lefties, but we would be, you know, more satisfied with him getting a chance. And if he ends up striking out or popping up Raley, who cares? At least that we can be satisfied as fans that the best guy was in to give us a chance to win, rather than putting in Connor Joe, a righty, against a lefty. And the thing is, if you're going to go against a lefty pitcher and bring in a righty, you got to bring in someone that actually is good, you know, not someone that can't fucking play, you know, that hasn't had a hit in fucking ages, hasn't played in fucking 5 games, you know. This Wilson is just, you know, not a very good manager. A little dribbler, throw back to Logan Gilbert, toe tap on the bag, and that is 2 away. You know, and not only that, you know, once you pull Dominic Canzone and Luke Raley, right, and if you do it like in the 5th or 6th inning, they can't come back. And again, we needed, you know, to have Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone in the game late, you know, for another at-bat. And then, you know, having Connor Joe and Mitch Garver, I mean, they went 0 for 4, and we knew they were going to go 4. So, you know, but the unfortunate thing is Dan Wilson manages the game like a lot of other managers do. You know, they kind of stick to the book. You know, they stick by what is, you know, kind of the norm in baseball. But at some point, you got to buck the trend and not be like everybody else, because it's not fucking working. First pitch to Brandon Nimmo, high and away, 1-0 count. Yeah, I mean, run support definitely, you know, is a big issue. You know, we've had a lot of missed opportunities, you know, from our hitters. There's no doubt about that. 0-1 pitch. I mean, imagine in that, you know, first inning, you know, when we had bases loaded, you know, if the game is 2-2 right now or 2-1, you know, we feel a hell of a lot better. But, you know, sometimes you cash in with bases loaded and sometimes you don't. It's baseball. It's tough. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Nimmo. 0-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. There we go. Nice job there by Logan Gilbert, not giving up any more runs. And we still have a 2-0 deficit, and that's going to be punch out number 6 there for Logan Gilbert. Nice job. I mean, obviously he's, you know, he's got 6 Ks, but he's given up 7 hits, and then that home run, you know, to Nimmo right at the beginning of the game, which was not ideal. That kind of set the tone on what kind of day it was going to be, you know. And normally Gilbert is with Wu and Kirby, but unfortunately this year Logan Gilbert is more like Luis Castillo, untrustworthy. And again, the bats definitely need to come alive here. You know, again, if he's given up 7 hits and we're down 2-0 and we could be down 5-0, you know, who's going to step up for that RBI and that home run? Are we going to be able to get back-to-back hits? And if we're not able to do 3 in a row, we got to do at least back-to-back minimum, you know, to be able to give us a chance to get an RBI or a home run. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners, and let's get the job done. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1 with a K, leading the team in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. I tried to find an image of Raley that I could use, but, you know, none of them would convert for me, but hopefully one day I'll be able to get one. Right fielder in the 6 hole, making plays defensively as well. It's our guy, Luke Raley. We could use some electricity out of Luke, and we also could use a nuke from Luke Raley, who homered 2 games ago. Batting second, 0 for 1, shortstop J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 0 for 1, DHing Dominic Canzone. And I got to get the Leo Rivas photo prep since he's coming in for Donnie. And they haven't mentioned, you know, what it was, but on that double play, you know, he might have re-aggravated the groin, so... All right, first pitch to Luke Raley from Jacob deGrom is a ball. High and away, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. DeGrom on the mound, Luke Raley in the box. 1-0 pitch, check swing by Raley. He goes around. 1 ball and 1 strike from DeGrom to Raley. All right, Raley is challenging. No, I call it right down the middle. You know, I'm gonna, you know, we have to be able to call out what's going on. I mean, you got to understand, I've been watching this team since 1985. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat, you know, anything. When someone's playing good, you'll know. When someone's playing bad, you'll know, you know. And again, we'll also, you know, respect the good plays on the other team, which a lot of streamers don't do. So, you know, there's going to be times that we're going to get on the hitters. There are going to be times that we're going to get on the pitchers, but, you know, we call it right down the middle. So I don't think you've watched enough games if you're making that type of, you know, comment and whatnot. So 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. Two pitch, and pops it up a mile. And Seager is there, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 7-hole, shortstop J.P. Crawford. On deck in the 8-hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. Yeah, you know, 2-0 ain't bad, but when you give up 7 hits, that's not good. So you have to understand, you know, what we're talking about, you know, in the game itself. You know, unless you're actually looking at all the analytics that are going down instead of just looking at the obvious, the scoreboard. The scoreboard only says half of the story. You know, you could have a 2-0 game and only have 1 hit, you know, but when you have 2 runs given up and 7 fucking hits, Logan has not been good. You know, he's not trustworthy. So you have to understand what we're talking about in the game. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to JP. One-two pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes JP, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 8-hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. You know, and again, some people are good fits to this channel and some aren't, you know, and, you know, possibly maybe you're not. Let's go, Dom. First pitch in there for a strike to Dominic Canzone. 0-1 count. Change up 88 miles an hour there by Jacob deGrom. 0-1 pitch, little dribbler off the catcher, and foul. Change up 89 miles an hour, no balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. Jacob deGrom on the mound, Dominic Canzone in the box. Bottom of the 4th, 2-0 Rangers with nobody on and 2 outs. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Slider 90 miles an hour there by deGrom. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. One-two pitch, low and at the knees. That goes into the dirt. Nice save there by Jansen. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. Come on, Dom. I mean, at least he's at pitch number 5. Normally, he's been out within the first couple pitches, popping up or grounding out. Come on, Dom. 2-2 pitch, fouls that one off the catcher and the ump. Hopefully he's okay. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by Jacob deGrom. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the fourth inning, 2-0 Rangers. Nobody on and 2 outs. DeGrom on the mound, Dominic Canzone in the box. Two pitch. And Canzone with a nice blooper into right field. Let's go. Nice job there by Dominic Canzone. And that's what happens when you end up waiting, for pitch 5, pitch 6, pitch 7, instead of just swinging at the first 2 pitches and popping up and grounding out, which he's been doing over and over and over again. And sometimes when you get deeper into the count, you'll finally get that perfect pitch that you've been waiting on, and then you can end up getting a nice single or double. And nice job by Canzone having some patience. Nice single to right with 2 outs. Next up is Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. He's 1 for 1 with a little blooper there in the right field as well. Bottom of the fourth inning with a runner at first and 2 outs. And we used to be pretty good in the last 2 years with 2 outs. This year, we're kind of hit or miss, but it's always nice to be able to get a rally with 2 outs. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by Jacob DeGrom. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. Yeah, we don't talk about politics or anything like that here. You're going. One ball and 1 strike to Cole Young. Bottom of the fourth with a runner at first and 2 outs. 1-1 pitch. And Canzone gets tagged out. Holy moly. I mean, again, there's a certain time and a place, to have like a hit and run or try to steal a bag. That wasn't it. And unfortunately, he gets thrown out, caught stealing. Come on, Dom. You finally ended up getting a hit, and then you end up going on a stolen bag spree and you ended up getting caught. End of the fourth inning, 2-0 Rangers. Again, when things are going good, like when we play the Astros, it's like we can't do anything wrong. When things are going bad, or not to up to our standard, it definitely gets magnified more and more. End of the fourth inning, 2-0 Rangers. Let's go to the top of the fifth and see who's next up for Texas. But luckily, we're only down 2, and DeGrom will be heading out, pretty soon. And hopefully we'll be able to find somebody, that can end up getting a home run or an RBI for us. So we still got time. Let's go to the top of the fifth. 1 for 1 with a run. Shortstop Corey Seager. Batting second, 1 for 2 with an RBI and a K. Left fielder Wyatt Langford. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a K. First baseman Jake Berger. Trident's up. Let's go M's. All right, we're 1 sub away from 23,800. We're almost there. Who will be the person to get us to that number so we can go to our next goal of 23,900? All right, we're at 91 likes, 9 more to get to 100. All right, we're almost there. And again, it's like we used to be pretty good at bunting, even though we didn't do it as often as we needed to. We used to steal bags on the regular, but it feels like the timing has been off. And also we've been caught at first base, like napping, quite a few times also. So again, there's a number of things, that haven't really gone our way, here in 2026. And that reflects the 8-12 record and, getting swept, by the Padres after sweeping the Astros. There's no really in between. It's either really, really good baseball for the Mariners or really, really bad. And again, today we're only down 2. And again, we still got time. First pitch from Gilbert to Seager is high and away. 1-0 count. Come on, 1-0 pitch. And a little pop up to center field. Julio is there. No fly zone is in effect. Nice job there by Julio Rodriguez. We can always count on him, 9 times out of 10 to make that play there in center field. Nice job, J-Rod. Next up for Logan Gilbert as Corey Seager flies out to shallow center field. 3-hole hitter, left fielder, Wyatt Langford. First pitch from Gilbert to Langford. Takes a strike, looking low and at the knees. Slider, 84 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, baby. We still can win this game. Even though things have, looked a little bleak. I mean, at least we're not at 0 hits, and DeGrom's got a no-hitter. They got 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. We got 0 runs, 4 hits. We had bases loaded in the first. We weren't able to cash in, but, things can always be worse. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, and that goes out of play. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. (0-2 pitch, little dribbler towards first base and foul. Gilbert on the mound. Wyatt Langford in the box. (0-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? And he did not. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wyatt Langford. And again, the most that our starting pitchers can give up typically and still, have a chance for us to win is 3 runs max. If it goes above 3, unless we're raking, but obviously we haven't been the greatest hitting team, in 2026. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and another punch out by Gilbert. And that probably happened because Juan said he needs Gilbert to chill on the strikeouts, and it always feels like it's karma, when you ask for something, and sometimes you do get it, but other times you don't. Langford strikes out swinging, and that is 7 Ks for Logan Gilbert. Had 3 in the first inning, and again, 7 Ks is great, but giving up 7 hits, not so much. Next up is Jake Berger. First pitch, high and inside, 1-0 count. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde. It's like, yeah, 7 Ks is awesome, but then 7 hits, not so much. 1-0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Jake Berger. And hopefully we're going to be at 2-0 when Gilbert exits, and we can find someone to give us some offense. 2-0 pitch. Berger pops it up. Oh, Julio almost ran into Cole Young. And a divot from Julio's cleat needs to be fixed out there into shallow center field. And, again, another thing, to kind of mention, the communication on defense, nowhere near as good as it was last year. It just feels like these guys, need to have a players meeting and to be able to get on the same page. And again, if they are running to a ball and, you're not able to see the guy, they need to yell out, I got it, and so that way, who's saying I got it. And so the other guys, don't end up running into the guy that's trying to make the play. Communication has been very poor, not only that, but the base running for the Mariners as well. And, sometimes those little things like communication on defense and base running and knowing when to go on a hit and run and obviously not falling asleep at first base and getting thrown out, those things, derail, big rallies and big Uncle Mo and momentum. So again, it's not just Dan Wilson. It's not just Andres Munoz. It's not just Josh Naylor, not really living up to the expectations. I mean, there's so many things that need to get better for this team. And that's not being negative. It's just stating the obvious. Yeah, Julio will be okay. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th, and let's get on the board already. We're long overdue. Next up in the 9-hole, 1-for-1, second baseman Cole Young. Filling in for Brandon Donovan, I assume, might have re-aggravated that growing off that double play that we got. Playing third base momentarily here, Leo Rivas. Let's go, Leo. And batting third in the 2-hole, 0-for-1 with a base on ball, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. I mean, Cal or Julio homering today would be fantastic, or both for that matter. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Still one sub away from 23,800. We're almost there. And we broke 100 likes. Thank you so much. We're at 102, 98 to go to 200. All right, looks like DeGrom is done. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks on 88 pitches. First pitch strike, 7 for 17. And so now this is our time to hopefully cash in here. Devin Collier coming in. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch. Another ball there to Cole Young. Be patient, my guy. Low and away on pitch 1, high and away on pitch 2. 2-0 pitch. And another pitch high and away. Great eye here by Cole Young. Can we get a mini meltdown here by Collier? This would be great. 3 balls and no strikes to Cole Young. And I'm happy DeGrom didn't go 6-7 innings. You know, obviously pitch count got too high for that to happen. 3-0 pitch. And that's a 4-pitch walk. Here we go. And that's another thing the Mariners haven't been able to take advantage of. We haven't been able to get too many walks and too many hit by pitches, you know, to kind of bail out a team that's struggling in the box. But, you know, let's see if we can take advantage here. Young walked on 4 pitches. And let's see if Leo Rivas can give us a little bit of that Mariner magic. Hello. Let's go, Leo. Bring some electricity to this lineup, Leo. I mean, even him bunting right here and moving the runner over. First pitch there, in for a strike there by Collier. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch. Another strike there after throwing 4 straight balls there to Cole Young. 2 strikes back to back from Collier to Rivas. Come on, Leo. Come on, Leo. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Collier on the mound coming in for DeGrom. Leo Rivas in the box. 0-2 pitch is high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. One-two pitch, and he goes around on the check swing. Collier gets his first punch out on Rivas. That's unfortunate, and that is 1 away. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. First pitch to Cal, crushes it into right field and foul. Nice souvenir for that fan in the 3rd row. Julio with a little cut there on his hand. Nothing that he can't play through. All right, Gavin Collier coming in here for Jacob DeGrom, and we got the big dumper in the box. Come on, Cal. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the 5th, 2-0 Rangers. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 4-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour there by Gavin Collier. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Come on, Cal. Mando in the building. What's good? Good to see you. It's been a minute. 1-2 pitch. Cal pops it up. Should be a routine play here for the Rangers. They have better communication than the Mariners, it looks like. And that is 2 away. All right, Cal pops up. And that is 2 away. Next up, 3-hole hitter, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez, who's been really good in the last 10 games, batting over 300. We definitely need J-Rod to get going. Come on, Julio. And obviously got a double to start off the game in the first inning. And it's pretty rare that we get Cal and Julio to play great in the same game this year, and when they do, we win, but again, it's been usually one or the other. It would be nice if we could get both to cash in the same game. First pitch takes a strike looking high and inside, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. High and inside. Sweeper, 87 miles an hour, had some really good movement, and I thought it was going to hit that corner, but it just missed it. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. One pitch from Collier. Big swing and a miss. Tried to bait Julio on a pitch high and away, and he definitely fell for it. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. That was a nasty sweeper there by Gavin Collier. They haven't queued to the bullpen yet, so we're not too sure if they have anyone warming up yet. Gilbert's had 85 pitches, so you have to assume this 6th inning will be his last inning, and hopefully he completes it. And hopefully we're still, relatively close at that point. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. Julio has to jump out of the way slightly there. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Come on, J-Rod. 2-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking. Golly. Nice punch out there by Gavin Collier. Julio strikes out looking. End of the 5th, 2-0 Rangers. And obviously we're thinking, okay, Jacob deGrom is not in the game anymore, but first trip there in the pen with Gavin Collier, we weren't able to cash in. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Rangers in the top of the 6th. And then obviously this is going to be a, 4-inning sprint the rest of the way. And we're only down 2, so we still have a chance. We're not down by 5 or 6, thankfully. Next up, 1 for 2 with a K, center fielder Evan Carter. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a K, DHing in the 6th hole, Jock Peterson. And batting third, 1 for 2 in the 7th hole, third baseman Josh Young. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. All right, we got past our goal. Gained 3 subs since the last commercial break. And now we're 98 subs away from our next goal, which will be 23,900. We're almost at 24,000. We're getting there. And we're also approaching 6 million views pretty soon as well for the channel. So shout out to all the people that have liked, subbed, donated, commented, shared. I appreciate you very much. We're at 112 likes. 88 to 200. Because I like to be able to, flip up the backgrounds and whatnot. So sometimes I'll use, Safeco Field. It's not the Kingdome. Obviously that was indoors. So that's even going further back. So this is Safeco Field, and then obviously I'll have photos of T-Mobile, and it kind of just depends on the aesthetic and how it looks, and obviously when we use this particular background, we ended up sweeping the Astros, so I wanted to kind of keep the vibe going. And for example, we could end up going with this background, which I usually use also, and this one is T-Mobile, but you don't get to see the field. as much. It's there, but again, I use a bunch. It just kind of depends on my mood and, the vibe that we're trying to do. So first pitch to Evan Carter, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. I mean, we can switch them up all the time. But just like the aesthetic, on the thumbnail, it's kind of nice to have that, purplish, kind of sunset look and whatnot. And, sometimes I got to go with, what's working for us here with the Mariners. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Evan Carter. Yeah, sometimes we got to switch things up for good luck, you use a certain type of background and then we're getting our ass kicked. Sometimes, a change, like I used to do photos, just depending on my mood, and it would be, a blue uniform for one player, a white, maybe a City Connect blue for another. And then I started doing, all City Connect and all white. And, that kind of helped us rally a little bit. So just kind of depends on my mood and, what I want to be able to show. Pitch fouled off there by Evan Carter. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Carter. Top of the 6th inning, nobody on and no outs. 2-0 Rangers. So you're on it. You're a regular, so you get it. Yeah, and Kingdome is indoor. Obviously this is the same location as T-Mobile, just Safeco Field. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 6th inning, 2-0 Rangers. And again, Logan Gilbert's got 7 Ks. He's at 90 pitches right now, but he's given up 7 hits. So it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde story here. 3-2 pitch, popped up. And there's Rivas making the play that Donnie would have. And let's pray that Brendan Donovan just has a minor injury, with maybe his groin or something of that nature. I mean, he missed 2 games with that and also a couple games with the flu. And, when he's, your best hitter on the team with Luke Raley and Randy Arozarena, you can't really afford to have Brendan Donovan out, not only defensively at third, but also offensively. Nice play there by Leo Rivas. Good defense. And that is 1 away. Next up is Jock Peterson. First pitch to Jock is low and away by Logan Gilbert. Cutter, 92 miles an hour by Logan Gilbert, 1-0 count. .1-0 pitch to Jock. Crushes it into left field, fading foul. Slider 85 miles an hour there by Gilbert. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, 2-0 Rangers. And we can definitely come back. But when you're struggling and you just got swept by the Padres on the road, even though we're only down 2, it feels like we're down 4-0. Things get magnified when you make mistakes. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jock Peterson. I mean, we got 4 hits today, so it's not like we have 0 right now, but again, with the talent that we have, we should have more. And we didn't cash in with bases loaded in the first inning, and that's kind of the difference. We would have cashed in that inning. Maybe the game is 2-1 or 2-2 right now, and that's why it's so important to get off to a fast start, especially when you're struggling. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jock Peterson. Come on, Logan. And we got time called here by Cal Raleigh, and I think that's a good time to have a mound visit with Logan Gilbert. All right, Logan's at 96 pitches, 66 strikes, 5.1 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, and the big thing is no walks. So at least he's been clean there. But with the 7 hits that he's given up, he does have 7 Ks. So, there's a positive and a negative. But with the flip side, giving up 7 hits, at least it's not 7 hits for 7 fucking runs like Luis Castillo. But Gilbert is definitely, shaky this year. Luckily, Emerson Hancock has, taken that spot, a little bit more reliable with George Kirby and Brian Wu. But one thing is for sure, with the starting pitchers for the Mariners, they're not getting enough run support. Every single one of them, even the ones that are struggling, like Castillo and Gilbert, more times than not. They're not, getting that help that they need. 2-2 pitch. That's fouled off there by Jock Peterson. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Gilbert. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, 2-0 Rangers. Two-two pitch, low and at the knees. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jock Peterson. Yeah, and also with the ABS, a lot of these umps that had grudges against other players, they can't, just be so wild with their calls, and you have to be held accountable, and that's great for, ABS and for players and fans as well. 3-2 pitch, and that ends up being outside, and that is a walk, the first walk for Logan Gilbert, and this will be it for Logan. And normally Dan Wilson is not the guy that makes really good, calls for the Mariners, but this is the correct call, taking him out here with the pitch count, with obviously getting his first walk with 1 out. Now, we could still end up getting a double play, but I assume that this will be it. He's at 99 pitches. Unless for whatever reason they have this visit and he lets him stay out there, but that might be a mistake. Again, it's like we could get a double play and get out of the inning, but you're at 99 pitches, and it's not like you have 7 Ks and only 2 hits. So this is, maybe one of the very rare times that I agree with Dan Wilson, and he actually is bringing in the right person, Eduard Bizardo, either him or Matt Brash, even though Brash could end up being our new closer over Andres Munoz, which he should be. All right, so Eduard Bizardo is coming in, and that's the right call. All right, Bizardo, we're going to need you. And then next up for the Rangers will be Josh Young, who's 1 for 2. On deck is Josh Smith. And let's look at Logan Gilbert's final line. 5.1 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, and he just got a walk on that last batter. First walk of the game, 7 Ks with his 7 hits. 99 pitches, 67 strikes, 4.03 ERA. Came into the game with a 1-2 record with an ERA of 4.18. And again, at least it's only 2-0 with those 7 hits. So again, if it was Luis Castillo, 7 hits might be 7 runs. So, and we're still in it, even though we only have 4 hits today, but we will see. All right, come on, Bizardo. First pitch in there for a strike to Josh Young. 0-1 count. Eduard Bizardo on the mound and Josh Young in the box. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Oh, yeah, if he would have left him in, that would have been terrible. 0-1 pitch, hard hit ball. Where's Randy? Where's Julio? Jesus, right in between both of them. Oh, play at second and safe. And I don't know if we're going to be able to challenge that. And Josh Young with a sliding double. I was like, where is Randy? Where is Julio? Like literally hit it right in between where both guys were. And I think Mariners are going to challenge, this tag at second base. I don't know if we're going to win it. The initial glance, he was safe, and he was. His foot does get off the bag, though. So his foot goes in, and he's safe. But then when the tag is applied, the foot does come off the bag slightly. So I don't know, To me, it looks safe. But we'll see what they decide to call on the replay here. But toe definitely gets into the bag first. But then the toe comes off the bag, and then the tag is made. So after looking at that replay, that might be out. This would be really awesome if we can end up getting this out at second base here. I mean, first replay looks safe by a mile. Second replay, foot does come off the bag. And let's see if we can get Cole Young with this fantastic defensive play. And he's been one of the better second basemen, in the big leagues as far as defense. Oh, runner is safe. And that one could have went in our favor, right? Initially the foot was in there safe, but then the foot kind of goes off the bag. The tag is made. I don't know. That looked kind of out to me after that second and third replay, but I guess they saw something that us Mariner fans didn't see. First pitch from Edward Bizzardo to Josh Smith. 1-0 count. Come on, Bizzardo. I mean, if you're going to be shaky to start off, we could have kept Logan Gilbert in and maybe got a double play or something. Come on, Bizzardo. You have to make it worth it for us to be able to pull Gilbert and bring you in. 1-0 pitch, little dribbler towards first base and foul. And we need a double play. I mean, we needed one early. We got it. It's a little bit harder to get a double play with runners at second and third, but still doable depending on where the ball is hit. So if we can get the ball hit in between second and third, that would be ideal. 1-1 pitch. Right down the middle for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Smith. I mean, unless we're able to get both punch outs with Bizzardo, but. And Josh Smith is challenging and he should lose this. This was in the zone. At least it shows on the pitch graph in the zone. Yep. And he's going to lose the challenge. Call is confirmed strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Smith. Trident's up. Let's go M's. I mean, again, we got a lot of things going against us, even calls, that we think that should have gone our way, but we just got to keep the faith. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. There we go. Yeah, and think about how many reviews that we've had this year that have been like 50-50, that could have gone one way or the other. I feel like we've had a lot of them this year, and again, ones that we think, oh, he's out, and then they call it safe like that. So, it's very tough. Next up is Danny Jansen, 0 for 2. Now we don't need the double play. Let's see if we can get a pop-up ground out or another strikeout for Bizzardo to, give him a little bit more confidence and swagger here. First pitch is a ball, 1-0 count, high and away. 1-0 pitch, fouled it behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks. 1 ball and 1 strike to Danny Jansen. Bizzardo on the mound, Danny Jansen in the box. And we got to keep this, game as close as possible. 2-0, so that way that we can end up finally getting a home run or an RBI, and, we'll be right there at the end of the game in the 9th. 1-1 pitch. Beautiful pitch on the corner. Oh, my God. Sweeper. 82 miles an hour. I thought right when he threw it, there's no way that's a strike. And then finally, good, obviously, placement there, by Bizzardo, and a nice frame job by Cal there as a catcher as well. Get the punch out. 1-2 pitch. High and away. Misses the strike 3 call there by maybe an inch. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Danny Jansen. Yeah, 100%. I agree. And sometimes we'll be, in favor of the call, sometimes not. 2-2 pitch. There we go. Strike 3 on the corner. Let's get it. There we go. Good job by Bizzardo coming in, and again, bullpen overall, when it's like Bizzardo and Brash, we trust them, right? Ferrer and Gabe Spire as lefties are 50-50, right? And then you get Colt Wilcox and Casey Legomina and Cooper Criswell, maybe it's like 25% good, 75% bad. And then Mooney, has been 90% bad. So it's like at least we got a couple guys that we can trust in Bizzardo and Brash. But again, we need more than just two guys, and we don't even have the ability to trust our closer at the moment. And if we have Bizzardo to kind of start it off, at some point you might have to actually have Bizzardo pitch more than one inning. Because if you end up bringing in someone shaky like Spire or Ferrer, 2-0 could turn into 4-0. And I would like to see Brash be our new closer, because Mooney's grip, obviously with his pitches, is not good. And if they continue to throw Mooney out there when he's not right, we're going to keep losing games, especially when we need to win. So, and we have to be thankful we actually have a guy that we can swap with Mooney, in Matt Brash. But is Dan Wilson smart enough, to understand what's going on his team? That has yet to be seen. We will find out. All right, let's go to the bottom of the sixth inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Let's get on the board already. Next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1 with a walk. First baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting second in the 5-hole, 0-for-2 with a K, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. And batting third, 0-for-2 with a K, leading the team in batting average, RBIs, and home runs. Number 1 on Seattle, right fielder Luke Raley, and has been able to make some good defensive plays sliding on one knee, which has been very impressive for us Mariner fans. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Collier is still out there. Gavin Collier on the mound. Josh Naylor in the box. Oh, 1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there by Josh. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by Gavin Collier. And we thought, maybe, we could have a meltdown after DeGrom ended up exiting, but again, we haven't been able to hit Collier here either. And again, if they bring in this lefty in the pen, I better see Luke Raley still out there. I better not see Connor Joe, and again, the whole lefty pitcher coming in, you have to understand, that not only it's for that at-bat, and then we're not going to get Luke Raley on defense or that last at-bat that could potentially help us tie or win the game. We need to get a better manager. 1-2 pitch, low and away. And it's not like Rayleigh's good at hitting, left-handed pitching, but it's going to be better than Connor Joe or Mitch Garver, It's like you bring in a righty, it has to be someone that actually can fucking hit. 2-2 pitch. And Naylor, hard hit ball, blooper into right field. There we go. Nice job by Josh Naylor. There we go. 2-for-2 with a walk today. Leg kick, it works. It might be a little leg kick, but it's doing its job. Nice job, Josh. Now, who else is going to step up? If Naylor is finally getting the job done as the shittiest hitter on the Mariners as a starter, we got to get Randy and Luke going. And again, Randy will, obviously be up, and maybe they'll switch pitchers, when Luke Raley gets up, and then Dan Wilson will make the dumb move and, bring in Connor Joe again, but every Mariner fan would rather see the number 1 home run, number 1 batting average, and number 1 hitter play the rest of the game, even if he strikes out, rather than bring in a shitty Connor Joe. There's no one on planet Earth that wants to see fucking Connor Joe come in. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. And I don't want to see Canzone exit for fucking Mitch Garver. They ended up doing that, and both guys ended up going 0-for-2. You can't be friends with everyone with the splits. Let players play, especially when it's the best hitter on the team. You don't fucking substitute him out. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2-0 Rangers. Come on, Randy. Throw to first. And Naylor is safe. Gavin Collier on the mound. Randy Arozarena in the box. Come on, Randy. One pitch. Broken bat, and it goes towards first base and foul. And I don't know if I want to, I mean, I get it. We're kind of getting towards the end of the game, but I'm not really sure if we should be doing any hit and runs. And again, Naylor was really good at stealing bags last year, you know, but again, we haven't been a very good base running team this year. Canzone tried doing the same strategy, and what happened? He got thrown out. I mean, when base runners are so sacred, do we really want to attempt a guy, you know, getting thrown out, even though we know Naylor could steal bags last year, but this year he hasn't had very many opportunities. You know, we just don't want to, you know, shoot ourselves in the foot, you know? It's like we finally got someone on base. We don't want to ruin it. One-two pitch from Collier, and Randy fouls it back to the Arians T-Mobile Park sign behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Rangers. Is this the inning that we finally get on the board? Kind of feels like it could be. You know, and again, I don't have any faith in Connor Joe or Rob Refsnyder. You know, having him lead off was the dumbest thing that Dan Wilson has ever done. You know, it's like, I can't wait for Victor Robles to, you know, be back with this team. 1-2 pitch, high and away. Good eye there by Randy. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. And again, if we have Victor Robles healthy, you know, sometimes when Dominic Canzone is struggling, we can throw Robles at DH. And that could help us out, you know, or even having him in, you know, I was going to say right field, but, you know, Luke Raley's been doing a pretty good job out there most of the time. 2-2 pitch. Pitch is fouled off. But I guess you could go Robles and right, and you could have Luke Raley DH. You could go that route, you know, if you don't want Canzone to play and you want him to sit out, you know, for that particular game. So 2-2 pitch and a dribbler towards first base. Oh, Randy run! And got him. But runner advanced to second, and that was at least an attempt by Randy to show some hustle. Most of the time, he doesn't really run hard to first, no matter if the play is close. And now they're going to bring in a lefty, and does that mean that they're going to sub out Luke Raley, and they're going to put in Rob Refsnyder? Jesus Christ. And again, Refsnyder doesn't even have a hit yet, right? He's got like 3 walks. He's robbed a home run in right field. But these are the decisions, you know, that you make as a manager, where you either do the same type of strategy as a lot of these other shitty managers. Oh, they bring in a lefty, so we have to bring in a righty because, oh, a lefty on lefty can never work, right? But again, if it's your best player on the team, you know, home runs, batting average, as well as RBIs, and you're just going to act like he's a scrub and then bring in Rob Refsnyder, like, what are you doing? You know, we would rather see Luke Raley pop up, strike out, or ground out than bring in a guy that we have zero faith in. So looks like they're going to end up doing this move here. And now Alexander is coming in, and I'm going to lose my fucking shit here if I see Rob Refsnyder or fucking Connor Joe in, and I think it's going to happen. Dan Wilson does not have a pulse with this team at all. And Tyler Alexander is coming in. All right, so Collier is done, and they're going to bring in Tyler Alexander. And Rob Refsnyder is coming into the game. You got to be shitting me, dude. Fire Dan Wilson. Fire this idiot, dude. I'm sick and tired of him playing, you know, just safe all the time. This is the dumbest shit ever. I mean, didn't you learn before with Connor Joe and Mitch Garver coming in for Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone? And you also have to realize that means that we're not going to have Luke Raley at the end of the game, where we're really going to need him offensively and defensively. Oh, my God. Tyler Alexander in the game. Rob Refsnyder, a hit right up to the middle. Refsnyder running to first. Oh, look at that. 2 away. That was really worth it. Good job, Dan. And now we don't have Luke Raley for the rest of the game. Our best hitter on the team. Idiot. Sick and tired of Dan Wilson. I mean, we already had to deal with Scott Service. You know, it's like you have to realize it's more than just that one at bat. You got to think of the implications later in the game. Rob Refsnyder doesn't have a hit, but then they're going to replace the guy that's the best player hitting to the guy that doesn't even have a hit yet. Smart move, Dan. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Hopefully J.P. can find a way here. First pitch, takes a strike looking with the sweeper. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. And again, how many times do you have to, substitute a player and they don't get a hit? And then you realize this isn't working. Just because everyone other manager does it doesn't mean that it's going to work for us. It's like you go and look at the list on how many times they've swapped out a good player for a bad player that doesn't even normally play, and they don't get a hit. Like, what do they have to do? Go 0 for 30 combined? Oh, it's not working. No shit. Like, 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. Sinker at 91 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Hell, I think I could do a better job than Dan Wilson managing the team. There's no way that any of us could play like some of these players. But if we're just talking about managing, it's like you either have a pulse on your team or you fucking don't. You know who's good and who's not, and again, you just can't be like everybody else. You're either a leader or you're a follower. Dan Wilson is a follower. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And it shows. 3-2 pitch. And JP with a little dribbler that gets through. Let's go. Run, baby, run. Run, Naylor. Oh, he's going to get thrown out and out by a mile. Naylor is too fat and slow. And then that is out number 3. Or is that out number 2? I mean, anybody but Josh Naylor right there, but that's just how things have gone for us, right? We want to be able to try to be able to put a run on the board, and that is out number 3. And again, the throw was on point. And again, anybody but Josh Naylor there, maybe the score is 2-1, but we can't steal a bag. We get caught sleeping at first. And finally, when we actually have an opportunity to maybe get a run, then you get thrown out by a mile. And like I said, this is on Dan Wilson. It's one mistake after another mistake, communication on defense, shitty base running, inability to hit, fucking Logan Gilbert not being good, Munoz being garbage. It's like at some point, something's got to give. And again, we can't win on the road. The only way we can win is at home, and should have never went. Again, anybody but Josh Naylor, that had some speed, you might have been able to get there, but Naylor, he's not as slow as, maybe like a Giancarlo Stanton, but fuck, pretty close. End of the 6th inning, another miscue by the Mariners, 2-0 Rangers, but even with the miscues, we still have a chance to win this game in regulation or extras, but who's going to make the play? Let's go to the top of the 7th. Next up, 1 for 3, right fielder, Brandon Nimmo. Batting second, shortstop, Corey Seager. And batting third, left fielder, Wyatt Langford. And they're going to bring in Jose Ferrer. And again, if I'm managing this team rather than this fucking bum right here, I go with Bizzardo again. Who's to say that a guy can only go 1 inning? Again, if you don't have trustworthy guys in the pen, I would rather have a guy go 2 innings, not all the time, but sometimes. If it's Bizzardo, 2 innings. Brash, 2 innings. Anybody else, 1 inning. But again, I guess Dan Wilson doesn't recognize talent when he sees it. Now we're going to bring in a guy, that may or may not pitch well, and we will find out. And now Refsnyder is in right field, and again, he has robbed a home run, obviously this season, but having him at bat again, what do you, I mean, it's like best hitter for the guy that doesn't have a hit, worst hitter, and it never works out. First pitch from Ferrer to Nimmo. Takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. In there for a strike. Sinker, 95 miles an hour by Ferrer. And again, Ferrer sometimes is good, like Gabe Spire, but sometimes isn't. And he was part of that crew with Mooney that blew the game against the Padres when we were up 6-2 and lost 7-6. 0-2 pitch, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Nimmo. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Nimmo. Two-two pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Nimmo. I like that. And that is 1 away. And at least we get the good Jose Ferrer. Rick Riz likes it. That's better than having a home run that Logan Gilbert gave up to Nimmo in the first. Next up, 1 for 2 with a run, shortstop Corey Seager. First pitch to Seager, and it ends up being fair. Oh no, ground ball. Throw to second, and safe. Gosh, we can't even get guys at second base when they go in for doubles. Randy is terrible on ground balls out there. Man, it just feels like he's getting paid, but he doesn't care. Nice hit there by Seager. Singles turn into doubles when it goes to Randy on a ground ball. Doubles turn into triples, and triples turn into inside the park runs. Seager doubles the left. Next up, left fielder Wyatt Langford. Little dribbler there by Langford towards first base and foul. Yeah, especially as shallow as it was, and again, it's like if we have a third base coach, he should be fired, because how many times has that type of thing happened for us this year? You have to recognize, who it is that's running the bags. You can't treat every, player the same way when they're, trying to make a play like that. And that's a show of a desperate team, trying to, do anything it takes to try to get a run on the board, but you can't smell like desperation through the whole game. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike to Wyatt Langford. One pitch, low and at the knees again, sinker, 96 miles an hour, 2 balls and 1 strike to Wyatt Langford. And again, for every, big play Randy makes in the box, home run and ribbies, how much does he give up? Like, I wouldn't mind if he wasn't on the team in the future. Like I said, I would rather have someone that's a great defender in left that hits, 10 to 15 home runs, that is a great defender, than have someone that can hit 25 to 35 home runs that's terrible on defense, which Randy is. Again, for every home run that he gets and RBI that he gets, it feels like, he might get 30, 35 home runs, but how many runs is he giving up on his season? Over a fucking 100, just on ground balls alone. And plus, if you're going to, have that little dust up with Cal and whatnot, like, I don't know if he's really a fit for this team. He can go back to Tampa Bay or anyone else that would take a guy that's shitty on defense. 2-2 pitch, popped up. Fucking, we can't even get that ball. Lands in between 3 Mariner players, and another base knock for the Rangers. But there's only a few guys, that aren't really good fits on this team. Rob Refsnyder, Randy Arozarena, Connor Joe, shouldn't be on this team. But Randy obviously is a good hitter most of the time, so that's the one thing that kind of bails him out. And he's decent at pop-ups, I'll give him that. Wyatt Langford singles to left as we have 3 Mariner players that can't get to the ball. Now we got runners at first and third with 1 out, and we need a double play desperately to keep this game at 2-0. Give me a slow dribbler up the middle, please. First pitch to Jake Berger in there. Inside, low, and at the knees. I thought that was going to be a strike, but called ball. 1-0 count. Jose Ferrer on the mound. Jake Berger in the box. Runners at first and third with 1 out. One 0 pitch, big swing and a miss. Nice pitch there by Jose Ferrer. Change up 87 miles an hour, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jake Berger. Come on, Jose. We need the good version of you. Not the one that had the meltdown against the Padres. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jake Berger. Top of the 7th inning, runners at first and third with 1 out. 2-0 Rangers. We still have a chance to tie this game up and go to extras or potentially win, but someone needs to make a play. 2-1 pitch, popped up and out of play. Thinker 96 miles an hour there by Jose Ferrer. Come on, baby. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We've gone through so much adversity in these first 21 games. We got to try to find and win as many games at home before we play the Cardinals. 3 games set against the Rangers. Throw to first and safe. 3 games against the Rangers. They swept us in Texas. We got 3 games against the Athletics, which is not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult, like the Angel series was with Joe Adell robbing those 3 home runs. And then we go on the road to the Cardinals. And we know Jordan Walker is, balling out. 2-2 pitch. And a hard hit ball into shallow center field in the gap. And of course, it ends up being another hit, and that brings in another run. Should have kept Edward Bizzardo in the game instead of bringing in Ferrer, and another dumb decision by Dan Wilson. 3-0 Rangers. You only have Bizzardo and Brash that you can trust in the bullpen, and that's scary. You got 9, 10 guys in the bullpen. You only got 2 you can trust, and you can't even trust the closer. Berger singles to center. Seager scores. Langford to second. Runners at first and second with 1 out. And again, sometimes you get a good version of Ferrer with Spire, but a lot of times they're not trustworthy. And they traded Harry Ford for him to give us an asset in the pen. I'm not really seeing too much of an asset to start off the year with this guy. First pitch takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, slow dribbler towards third and foul. And we still desperately need a double play. Dribbler up the middle, toe tap on the bag, throw to Naylor to get out of this inning, only down 3. And this might be the maximum amount of runs that we can be down, where we can still potentially, if we get lucky, can get a home run or an RBI sequence in the 7th, 8th, or 9th to come back. But then are they still going to be at 3, or are they going to have more? 0-2 pitch, low and away. Slider 89 miles an hour there by Jose Ferrer. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Got to have the blind faith. And Ferrer steps off the mound. But again, it's there's certain guys that you can trust and you feel that confidence in that vibe. And there's a lot of players that you just don't. But Dan Wilson continues to play those guys that aren't trustworthy. Slow dribbler, flip to second, no play at first. And good play there by JP. I wish we would have been able to turn that for 2. But at least we get the second out, and that is 2 away. Just not a chance to be able to get that turned over for the double play. Down goes Evan Carter. Good defensive play there by J.P. Crawford. And it looks like, are they going to have someone come in for Jock Peterson? And now Jose Ferrer is done. And that was wasted opportunity. Again, I would have just kept Edward Bizzardo in for another inning. And yeah, would have Bizzardo given up another RBI like Ferrer? It's possible, but we had a better chance to keep the game at 2-0 if Bizzardo would have pitched 2 innings. Sometimes you got to do the opposite of what everyone else does. And I'll see who's coming in here for Jock Peterson. 3 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Rangers. 0 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Mariners. And again, we can win games at home, but we can't win them on the road. And I'm going to find out here, hopefully momentarily, what they're going to do here at the DH. All right, they're going to bring in Andrew McCutchen, the former Pittsburgh Pirate. All right, Andrew McCutchen coming in here for Jock Peterson. And they're going to bring in Casey Legomina. Yikes. First pitch from Legomina to Andrew McCutchen. Low and away, sinker 92 miles an hour there by Casey Legomina. 1-0 count. Could have been a strike, but called ball. 1-0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Andrew McCutchen, which is very weird seeing him in a Ranger uniform. Two-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike from Legomina to McCutchen. Yeah, well, you have to do your research. You know, if you've seen how many games the Mariners have won on the road, you should have never bet on them to win a game on the road. You know, that's why you have to actually do your research before you bet. Otherwise, you'll lose. 2-1 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour there by Casey Legomina. 3 balls and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third and 2 outs. 3-1 pitch. In there for a strike. Nice sinker there, 91 miles an hour. I mean, and regardless if you're a Mariner fan or not, nobody should be betting on the Mariners until we can actually get right. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Andrew McCutchen. 3-2 pitch. And McCutchen pops it up in foul territory, but no area there for Cal to get to that ball. That goes out of play. Count still is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and third and 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, 3-0 Rangers. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Got to keep this game at 3-0. Come on, Legomina. 3-2 pitch to McCutchen. Big swing and a miss. Nice punch out. Great job there by Legomina, who's, you know, one of those guys, you know, like Cole Wilcox and, you know, Cooper Criswell that, you know, you don't really trust, you know. But again, if you only have to get 1 out, like Carlos Vargas, you know, sometimes he's good, you know, when he needs 1 out. But when you bring him in to get 3 outs, usually that's where the meltdown happens. Nice job there by Casey Legomina. And again, we're down 3-0, which is not ideal, but there's still a little bit of life. Next up, 1 for 2, DHing in the 8-hole, Dominic Canzone, the Italian stallion. We could really use a big home run. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a walk. Second baseman Cole Young. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K. Third baseman filling in for Brandon Donovan, Leo Rivas. And hopefully at the end of the game or tomorrow morning, we'll find out how injured Brandon Donovan is, if he re-aggravated that growing injury or whatnot. And hopefully he's okay. Bottom of the 7th inning, 3-0 Rangers. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. Thank you so much. 97 subs to go to 23,900. All right, we're at 125 likes. $75 to $200. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. All right, Beeks is coming in. All right, Jalen Beeks is coming in, a lefty. And Mitch Garver comes in for Dominic Canzone, just like yesterday. And again, Canzone obviously not the same type of hitter as Luke Raley, but let's see if Mitch Garver can give us at least something. And Garver pops it up. Langford is there, and that is one away. Dan Wilson doesn't know how to manage. Plain and simple. Down goes Garv. Next up is Cole Young. First pitch to Young, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Cole Young. Come on, Cole. You know, bringing in Mitch Garver is like bringing in, Connor Joe. I mean, at least Garver at some point, sometimes can make some plays, but a little bit more trust than Connor Joe or Rob Refsnyder, but by not that much. 2-0 pitch, low and away. Good eye there by Cole Young. 3 balls and no strikes from Jalen Beeks to Cole Young. 3-0 pitch, and that ends up being a 4-pitch walk to Cole Young. Nice patience in the box by Cole with everything going against us here. Next up, third baseman Leo Rivas on deck after that. Big dumper Cal Raleigh. And if somehow, some way, Leo can get a walk or hit by a pitch or a single, and then Cal hits a home run, then we're going to be, exactly where we need to be with a couple innings to go. I mean, that's best case scenario. First pitch from Beeks to Rivas. In there for a strike, 0-1 count. And he's 0 for 1 with a K. Filling in for Donnie that might have had a re-aggravation to the groin. I don't know for sure. They haven't mentioned anything. 0-1 pitch. Takes another strike looking. Swing the bat, Leo. No balls and 2 strikes from Beeks to Rivas. Come on, Leo. 0-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. Change up. 89 miles an hour there by Jalen Beeks. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. Beeks on the mound. Rivas in the box. Come on, Leo. 1-2 pitch, crushes it into right field, out of play. Come on, Mariners. We've had so many things going against us. Got to find something. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Leo Rivas. And that is 2 away. Wish that was Brandon Donovan instead, but next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Cal gets a single, Julio gets a home run. That would be best case scenario. Or Cal homers and Julio homers, but it's hard for them to be able to play good in the same game, but we're running out of time. First pitch to Cal Raleigh, big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. Change up 88 miles an hour there by Jalen Beeks. Runner at first with 2 outs. 0-1 pitch. Cal pops it up into shallow right field, and that is out number 3. All right, we're going to have a 2-inning sprint. All right, let's go to the top of the 8th inning. And obviously this kind of feels like a hangover effect after what happened to us in San Diego, getting swept. But I did not think that we would be at a 0 right here, but it shows you how important that first inning was with the bases loaded, that we needed to get something in that inning. And it didn't really help that Nimmo hit a home run to start it off. We needed to be that team. Let's see who's up next here for the Rangers in the top of the 8th. Next up, 2 for 3, third baseman Josh Young. Batting second, 0 for 3 with 2 K, second baseman Josh Smith. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, catcher Danny Jansen. Trident's up. Let's go M's. No matter how bad things get, I will never give up on this team, ever. You got to be mentally strong to be a fan of a team like this, let me tell you. And are they going to let Legomina come out again, or are they going to bring someone else in? Three-game set here at home, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tomorrow we're on Fox and on Mariners TV. And then we got an early afternoon game, and then we got a 3-game set against the Athletics, and a day off. Obviously, NFL draft is coming up. And then we go on the road to St. Louis. Legomina still out there. First pitch right down the middle. Takes a strike looking to Josh Young. Sinker, 93 miles an hour, 0-1 count. One pitch in there for a strike. Sinker, 92 miles an hour there by Casey Legomina. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 8th inning, 3-0 Rangers. Yeah, and again, and then the terrible base running, by Naylor and Dominic Canzone getting thrown out at second, lack of communication, for the defense. I mean, there's just so many things, it's almost laughable, but 2-2 pitch, little dribbler there, throw to first, nice throw by JP to Naylor, and that is 1 away. And again, I mean, I've been a fan of this team for, many, many, many years, almost 40 years, and, it's never gets any easier watching your favorite team with your favorite players struggle and whatnot. But, at some point, someone's got to have to step up and to be a hero. Next up is Josh Smith. First pitch from Legomina to Smith. Takes a strike looking with a changeup, 88 miles an hour, 0-1 count. One pitch, low and at the knees, 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour there by Casey Legomina. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Smith. Legomina on the mound, Josh Smith in the box. 1-1 pitch, low and away, but in the zone for a strike. Right on the corner, sweeper, 80 miles an hour, probably should have been called ball if we're being honest. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Legomina to Josh Smith. Top of the 8th inning, 3-0 Rangers. 2-2 pitch from Casey Legomina. Pop foul. Fading into left field, out of play. Sinker, 92 miles an hour there by Casey Legomina. Top of the 8th inning, 3-0 Rangers. Legomina on the mound, Josh Smith in the box. 2-2 pitch. High and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Smith. 3-2 pitch. Popped up. Shallow center field. Julio is there. And that is 2 away. Nice job by Julio Rodriguez there in shallow center field. And next up in the 9-hole, catcher Danny Jansen. Yeah, I mean, anytime you end up making mistakes and you don't play well and you have a 0, it always feels like it's doubled, to some people it may feel, like we're down by 10, but for me, normally it feels like if you're down 3, it feels like we're down 6-0. It's like doubled up, but I guess it really depends on how many mistakes we've made. And a hard hit ball in a deep right field. Jesus, all the way to the T-Mobile sign. And another double for the Rangers. I mean, make it stop. And Danny Jansen with a double on the wall with 2 outs. Next up, right fielder, leadoff hitter, Brandon Nimmo. And it's a combination of a number of things, guys that played in the WBC, maybe expectations of, making it to the World Series and, being one of the last 3 teams left with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers and, thinking that we would be able to make the playoffs in back-to-back years, which we haven't been able to prove that we can do yet, and expectations very, very high. And, there's just a number of, things, players underachieving, manager making, bad mistakes, players making mistakes. It's, it hasn't been pretty. But with all that being said, it could be worse. We're 8-12. Imagine if we only had like 2 or 3 wins right now, like what the vibe would be like. So, and if you actually look at the division, we're not that far behind. Everyone's playing like shit in the AL West. So it's not like we're 8-12 and there's a team that's 14-2, And so it's like, even though we're playing like dog shit, everyone in the American League West and a majority of the American League is playing like dog shit. So, you have to keep that in mind as well. Even though we're playing bad, everyone in the division is playing bad for the most part as well. 0-1 pitch. Low and away. And I feel like a lot of Mariner fans forget about that. They don't look at the standings as often as they should. So it's like all they see is us losing. But then you have to look at the rest of the teams in the division. And, even though it doesn't make it better, per se, it makes you understand that, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I really think, even though things are bad. But it could be worse. 1-1 pitch, high and away, 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour there by Legomina. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brandon Nimmo. 2-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike to Brandon Nimmo. And a 3-1 pitch turns into a walk, and Nimmo sprints to first base. Next up in the 2-hole, shortstop Corey Seager, 2 for 3 with 2 runs. And if we're not careful here and he hits a home run and makes it 6-0, then good night. First pitch, big swing and a miss there by Seager. 0-1 count. Cannot give up the big RBI or home run here. Can we please get this last out? Oh, 1 pitch, little dribbler up the middle. And throw to first, and that is out number 3. Thank God. All right, here we go. We only got 2 more chances. We got the bottom of the 8th and the bottom of the 9th. It hasn't been pretty. We've made a lot of mistakes. We had guys get hurt. Brandon Donovan. We had Naylor trying to run home on a play that he should have stayed at third. Canzone tried to go to second and got thrown out as well. It's like we haven't really had anything go our way, but we have to still have that blind faith. All we need is a mini meltdown by one pitcher, and we could tie the game up. Will we get that? Who knows? But again, that's baseball for you. Let's see who's up next and see if we actually have a chance to be able to put up at least a run or 2 in this inning and a run or 2 in the next inning. I know it's a big ask. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 3 with a K, center fielder Julio Rodriguez, who's been batting above 300 in the last 10 games, which is a good sign for Mariner fans. Batting second, 2 for 2 with a base on ball, who's actually had a good game today, but no one else is really stepping up. First baseman Josh Naylor. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And maybe Randy can finally do something here to make up for some poor defense early in the game. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. $23,803 subs, 97 to go to 23,900. We gained almost 400 subs since the beginning of the season. Thank you to all of the new subscribers to the channel. Appreciate you very much, as well as all the OGs that have been here for a minute. Appreciate you as well. Come on, Julio. All right, we're at 129 likes. 21 to 150. Appreciate that. You know, I tried to find a new image for Julio, and I have like 3 or 4, 5 different Julio images, but I thought, you know what, maybe to give us a little bit of a spark, maybe I'll try to find a new Julio, and I found that one, and it came out perfect, and I was thinking maybe this will give him a little extra juice. I mean, he's 1 for 3 today, but, we're still needing that big RBI or big home run, but I appreciate that. First pitch is low and away with a cutter, 90 miles an hour, thereby win, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss on a cutter, 90 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, J-Rod. One pitch, big swing and a miss. Slider 85 miles an hour there by Wynn. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Agreed. One-two pitch. Pops it up and out of play. And now my mouse isn't allowing me to scroll through the photos. I guess if it's one thing or another, like, you have the little rolly piece in the middle of your mouse where you can kind of go up and down. Well, that froze, on the program. So I guess that's just how it goes. Just like the Mariners bats freezing, 1-2 pitch. Julio pops it behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. But luckily I still have access in front of what is in, the bucket where I have access, but computer will need a reboot after the game. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Julio Rodriguez. No home run opportunity there. Nice strikeout there by Wynn, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 4-hole, first baseman Josh Naylor. I guess when it rains, it pours, huh? I would, if I would be able to plug that in, but I can't even scroll down to the point where I can add a new photo. So, I mean, I might be able to delete one and add one here. Let's see if I can do that. Well, all right, let's see if I can actually delete a few of these, and maybe it'll allow me to. On that very last photo, it might allow me to open one spot up. Okay, I got 1 bucket open there. Yeah, good timing. 1-0 pitch is high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor. 2-0 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor. And I had to delete 5 photos to get that last corner open so that way we could show the Mariner Moose. And usually when we do that, good things happen. So Let's see if that will be the good luck charm here. 3-0 pitch, and that's high and away, and Naylor with a walk. Here we go. Nice job by the Mariner Moose, giving us a little bit of juice there for our boy, Josh Naylor. And I'm glad that it froze at a point where I can still get access to the Rangers and Mariners, not only half of it, but, again, and it doesn't happen often. I can still scroll, with the mouse on other things, like when I go through the photo selection, but the main program that I'm using, sometimes it like freezes up, just like our bats tonight, they're freezing up. Next up is Randy Arosarena. Okay, now it's working. Let's see, is it working? Oh, no, the comments will scroll up and down, but the photos won't. At least I got one part to work. First pitch to Randy, little dribbler in front of the plate. And Randy is out, but runner advances to second. And that is 2 away. And at least Naylor had enough speed to get to second base there. And then Rob Refsnyder coming in. And Refsnyder flies out to left and still doesn't have a hit for the Mariners all season. At some point, you have to say, why are we playing you? End of the 8th inning, 3-0 Rangers. Hell, I would cut him or send him to AAA. He's not worth being on this team. I mean, what does he have to go 0 for 100? And then they figure out, well, maybe he shouldn't be on this team. I mean, for Dan Wilson, maybe that's what they need. End of the 8th inning, make the bleeding stop, 3-0 Rangers. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the 9th, and we have one last chance for a miracle. And at this point, it'd be a miracle if we could even get to 1, if we're really being honest. But you never know. At least they don't have a Mason Miller on, that side. But we'll see who they bring in. They might have someone that could be electric. Next up for the Rangers in the bottom of the 8th, 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 Ks, left fielder Wyatt Langford. Batting second, 2 for 4 with an RBI and a K, first baseman Jake Whataburger. And batting third, 1 for 4 with a K, center fielder Evan Carter. And unfortunately, I'm not able to change the music either since it froze on that particular spot. I mean, unless I refresh everything, but I don't want to freeze anything. So, I mean, we're in the 9th inning now, so. Top of the 9th inning, 3-0 Rangers. All right, 136 likes, 14 more to 150. First pitch from Legomita to Langford. Takes a strike, swinging right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, little blooper into shallow center right field. And the bleeding just continues no matter who's pitching for us. Next up, 2 for 4 with an RBI and a K, first baseman Jake Berger. And on deck in the 5-hole center fielder, Evan Carter. That'll be one of the thumbs for one of the other games, as well as this one. First pitch from Legomita to Jake Berger, high and inside, four-seam fastball, 1-0 count. Broken bat and another hit. I mean, even their broken bats turn into hits. Langford to second, Berger to first. Oh, Logan had 7 Ks. It's just ironic that, the program froze, which it normally doesn't, not the stream itself, but just the section where I usually go and scroll up and down with photos and music. And, even the program realizes that we're struggling right now. First pitch from Legomita to Evan Carter, high and away, 1-0 count. Got to play much better tomorrow. And we got George Kirby on the mound tomorrow, and then we got Brian Wu. So, at least we got some good pitchers, the 2 best besides Hancock tomorrow and the next day. So 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Evan Carter. Odin in the building, what's good? I wasn't able to respond to your message there because I seen it pop up on my phone, but I'm working. But I was going to check it here after the game was over. How are you? 2-0 pitch, low and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Evan Carter. Mariners challenge. And call overturned. I think the real question is, kid, is what is not happening in the game? 2-1 pitch from Legomina, and they drop down another bunt. Golly, they bunted twice today, and they've been able to get to first on both of those bunts. Something that Dan Will should implement, for the Mariners, but of course he won't. I mean, literally, they're getting base hits any way possible. I mean, they might as well try to steal, home from third base if they get that opportunity. I mean, everything that they're doing is working, and everything that we're trying to do is broken. I guess that's what happens when you go to San Diego and you get beat up and you get swept. I mean, we just took haymaker after haymaker, and we haven't recovered. Next up is Andrew McCutchen. First pitch to McCutchen, big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. Little pop up into right. Ref Snyder with a good throw, but obviously not in time to get the runner coming home. 4-0 Rangers, which it feels like at this point, maybe, 12-0 Rangers. That's what it feels like. Sandman final match and Vampiro's final match. Nice. I just saw your message there that popped up. Always good to be able to watch some, old school wrestling and whatnot. Next up is Josh Young. First pitch from Legomina to Young. High and away, 1-0 count. Three runs, 14 hits for the Rangers. Ay, ay, ay. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Young. And Young is 2 for 4 today. .20 pitch and another hit. And that's what happens when you got a, shitty pitcher, and then you got Randy there in left, acting like this is a T-ball game in 3rd grade. Lazy effort running to the ball, lazy effort throwing it into the infield. And another RBI for the Rangers, 5-0 Texas. But this is what you get when you have, Cooper Criswell, Cole Wilcox, and Casey Legomina that aren't trustworthy. Gabe Spire and Jose Ferrer that aren't trustworthy. And really the only guys that you can trust are who? Edward Bizzardo, who only pitched 1 inning, and Matt Brash, who we haven't seen yet. So, and obviously they're not going to use Matt Brash here today because we might need him tomorrow. So 2 guys out of 10 in the bullpen, including the closer, that you can trust, is not ideal to win baseball games, on top of not being able to hit, or manage for Dan Wilson's sake. But I still love this team. 0-1 pitch. Popped behind the plate, foul. No balls and 2 strikes from Casey Legomina to Josh Smith. And I mean, I should have known that it was going to be a shaky day when my dog got sick today. That was just foreshadowing of how things were going to go, obviously, here today for the Mariners. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees, and that one ends up hitting him in the foot. Great. But again, we had a 5-game losing streak, and then we ended up, sweeping the Astros with a mop 4 in a row, and then we got swept ourselves, by the Padres 3 in a row, and we got swept by the Texas Rangers when we were in Texas, and if we're not careful, we might get swept again, and hopefully that doesn't happen. We got to win, tomorrow with George Kirby and on Sunday with Brian Wu. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah, I never, because like I said, I'm a dog father and I don't got any kids. So it's like pretty much my daughter, my dog daughter. And anytime that she's in pain, it makes me in pain. It makes me sad, 0-1 pitch. Fouled off. No balls and 2 strikes to Danny Jansen. Yeah, you can say that, Chad, but again, the reality of it is that the Mariners have a 0% chance of winning this game. And again, they probably have a 0.5% chance to even put up a run. Not going to happen. Next up, for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 9th, 1 for 3 with a K, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second would have been Dominic Canzone, but now Mitch Garver. And batting third will be Cole Young. But it would be nice to be able to put up a run, but the chance of that happening is probably slim to none if we're really being honest. Yeah, I'm not really a cat person, Isaac. Like I said, I got an American Staffy, American Staffordshire Terrier. We've got a little bit of pity, so I think the dad was like half pity, half American Staffy, and then the mom was Staffy. And so it's like 3/4 Staffy and this a quarter pity, but she doesn't really act like a pit bull. She's really, sweet and, really loving, but loud, and, she gets a little skittish, with other people and other dogs. And, I always have to comfort her and, give her a little hug and kiss and let her know when we go on these long walks that I'm here and everything will be fine. And I've had to pick her up, a number of times when I've seen, dogs off leash, come towards her, because I'm not going to let any dog fucking bite her. If I have to defend her, I will, so. But hopefully she'll be okay. But she definitely was, a little under the weather 2 days ago with a kind of a sensitive stomach. And then today she ended up, having some issues going to the bathroom. And then at the end of our afternoon walk, she threw up her food from this morning, which is not ideal. So, it definitely makes my heart hurt a little bit, not only when the Mariners lose, but when my dog is sick, but hopefully she'll be okay. So, and I know a lot of people are, fertilizing, their lawns, and we'll go to parks and whatnot. And I try not to have her eat grass and, have certain chemicals potentially make her sick and whatnot. And, it's like I give her really good dog food, blueberries and strawberries and whatnot. But, I'm not really sure why, her stomach was upset today, but, hopefully she's okay. All right, we got Latz on the mound and we got J.P. Crawford in the box. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count. Oh, that's awesome. Staffies are the best. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. I have, the best thing that ever happened to me in my life was my pup, and then obviously this channel. Those are the 2 most important things in my life, is the dream and the goal here on the channel and, my pup. There's no doubt about that. 1-1 pitch, a little slow dribbler. JP Crawford dribbles it to first, toe tap on the bag, and that is 1 away. And I don't even want to think about the day that she's not around. Hopefully I can get her to live, 15 plus years. But if I end up getting another dog, it will be another female Staffy, I had a Samoyed, a boy Samoyed, purebred growing up, which is kind of like a husky that would pull me around in a sled when I was little and ended up living, close to 15 years old and whatnot. So, but obviously that's a lot of, maintenance and whatnot. And obviously, it takes a lot of work, for a dog that needs to be walked a lot and often and, has a certain type of personality and whatnot. But I feel if you put in a lot of love, you'll get that love in return. So 1-0 pitch from Latz to Garver, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Mitch Garver. Come on, Mitch. And then on deck is Cole Young. And again, my program froze, so I can't switch the music or even go scroll through my photos. I think everything freezes, not often, but I guess, with the way the Mariners played today, even the program was like, well, enough of you. So, but once I reboot the computer, it'll be fine. But just kind of ironic that happened today. Dog got sick. Mariners got their ass kicked, and then the program froze in the 8th inning. But, it's like the sports gods trying to let me know that the Mariners are not going to win today, but I still have faith for tomorrow. George Kirby, baby, and then Brian Wu. So I love those guys. 2-1 pitch. And Garver pops it up into shallow left field, and that is 2 away. And last but not least, Cole Young. And again, the scenario when we had the meltdown and the Padres came back is completely different than us here. One team can hit, the other can't, and our pitcher had a meltdown, and they're not having a meltdown here. We can't really compare those 2 scenarios. So that's why I thought, you can kind of have a feeling if you watch baseball enough, especially a team like the Mariners, where sometimes you get surprised, but a lot of times you have a feeling on how things are going to go, That's why we're able to predict home runs and double plays and a lot of things here on the channel, considering I'm watching every pitch and every game beginning to end. And I have been watching since the mid-'80s, but, every once in a while you'll get surprised, and you'll have an unexpected thing happen. But this one is just a complete ass whooping. Give the Rangers credit. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole Young. One pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cole Young. Some people are, good fits here on the channel. Some not so much. Bottom of the 9th inning, 5-0 Rangers. Yeah, I'm going to be, believe it or not, in May, I'm going to be 44. And Young pops it up into right field, back to the warning track, and that is the game. 5-0 loss here for the Mariners. And again, not what we wanted at the very least. And remember, we had bases loaded in the 1st inning, but we couldn't cash in. But even if we were able to get a couple then, it still wouldn't have been enough. And, again, got to find a way. Dan Wilson needs to be better. This platooning of players when a left-handed pitcher comes in and we bring in shitty righties, whether it's Rob Refsnyder or Connor Joe or Mitch Garver, it would be nice if it was someone that actually could fucking hit the ball, instead of a guy coming in that plays every 4 to 5 games. Mariner fans would rather see Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone play the whole game than split and have these other shitty players come in that, aren't going to play good defense and can't hit either. So, but again, he won't do that. And, hopefully he realizes that Brash would be a good move in the bullpen rather than Mooney if he's not right. So, Let's go through the stats here real quick. I mean, we don't really have a whole lot to go over, but Nimmo 1 for 4, ended up hanging a home run on Logan in the first inning, kind of set the tone. Seager 2 for 4, Langford 3 for 5, Berger 3 for 5, Carter 1 for 4, Jock 1 for 2, McCutcheon came in, the former Pirate 0 for 1, Young 3 for 5. I don't think I've seen so many guys go 3 for 5 in my life. Josh Smith, the only guy that not get a hit for the team, 0 for 4, as well as McCutcheon pitch hitting, and then Jansen 1 for 5. And let's look at the numbers for the Mariners. Donovan 0 for 2, and then he got hurt. Hopefully it's just something minor. Might have been a growing pull after the double play, and he's already missed 2 games with the growing, 2 games with the flu, and now he might miss another couple games. Hopefully it's not serious because we need Brandon Donovan, right? Rivas came in 0 for 2, Raleigh 0 for 3. It seems like a trend. Julio 1 for 4. Naylor finally has a good game as the worst hitter on the team, and guess what? No one else shows up. Kind of something that's happened in the past. Naylor 2 for 2. Randy 0 for 4. Rayleigh 0 for 2, and then let's bring in Rob Refsnyder 0 for 2. Doesn't have a hit all year. JP 1 for 4. Canzone 1 for 2. Garver 0 for 2, and Cole Young 1 for 2. I guess that's the story, right? 5 runs, 15 hits, no errors for the Rangers, and 0 runs, 6 hits, 0 errors, and then another loss for Logan Gilbert with no run support. So, hopefully my pup is okay. That's one thing that will always make me happy no matter what. And hopefully she's okay. And again, we got to hope that the Mariners will be okay with Brandon Donovan with his minor injury, as well as just the overall aura and vibe. And again, we will obviously discuss things that are going wrong. But again, I'm still always going to, never quit on this team. I'm always going to be 99.9%, optimistic and positive. And we got George Kirby on the bump tomorrow. Game is going to be early, like 4:15, Fox and Mariners TV, so set your calendars accordingly. And then we got like a 1:10 game on Sunday with Brian Wu. And let's just fucking hope that we can get some run support, and we definitely need it. We already, had the 5-game losing streak, right? Then we won 4 in a row, swept and got the mop on the Astros. That felt like, cloud 9. But then we go to San Diego and get swept there. And now we lose another game here to the Rangers. So I'm hoping that Kirby and Wu will be awesome. And then we also can score 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits in each game to give ourselves a chance to be able to win this series. So I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Prayers up to my pup. Hopefully her stomach is settled in, because I haven't let her eat any food since she got sick. And I know she's probably starving, but I figured if I fed her, that she might throw up again or, get sick. So, I have to kind of monitor that. So I'll give her a snack now. Shout out to Vapor for helping us out with the $10 holla early in the first inning. I appreciate you. And shout out to all the people that subbed to the channel. We ended up breaking 23,800. So now the next goal is 23,900. And we're getting close to, 24,000, which is awesome. And it looks like we gained another sub. So I appreciate that. So 96 subs to go to 23,900. And hopefully the program won't freeze tomorrow and things will be a little bit better. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Colt Emerson getting called up, Cade Anderson. I mean, we need a shot in the arm. That's definitely true. So I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Final score, Rangers 5, Mariners 0. And again, hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit better. Julio looks damn good on the thumb, but it wasn't enough for us to get the victory. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Final score, Rangers 5, Mariners 0. But I still have faith and hope in this team. I'll never give up on the Mariners. Tridents up all day, every day, and go Mariners.